action, pumping and dumping, manipulate the market, flooded from the darknet, flooded from the deep web, keep it a secret. Every exchange got the nerdy brains trading on the frequent.
Hello everyone out there. I'm going to try all of this. Maybe that will help. Just give us a moment. If you can't hear us, we're on a new streaming setup this episode. So, like there's going to be probably a couple of technical glitches and difficulties. So just give us a moment. I'm just basically making sure that audio is properly coming through, because you probably see a little hint of this here. We have a completely new microphone. We're also on a completely new better machine with everything configured. So again, we're just making sure that everything works, essentially. So hopefully we'll find out in a moment. Perfect. Okay. I hope that the microphone is way more clearer than it has been in the past. Hi everyone. Welcome to the DEFCON 201 live stream. My name is Sidepocket. I am one of the two co-founders of DEFCON 201. I have to do this with my shirt because my glasses are all nuts. We are a computer hacker group that is based in Jersey City, New Jersey. We meet the third Friday of the month. Our last meetup was on October 16th. Our next meetup, excuse me for this, our next meetup, if I can look at the calendar right now, is on will be on November 20th. And we also host a bunch of different shows, including this one. So if you're more interested about information about us, you can go to our website at defcon21.org. You can also check us out on a bunch of social media. Our biggest one is probably our Twitter at defcon201nj. And of course, if you go to our website and look at the social media on the left side, or type in DEFCON 201 into DuckDuckGo, you will see all sorts of stuff on there. We're on Instagram, we're on GitHub, we are on Mastodon under a host.social, and we hope you can check us out there. We also want to mention again, we're on a new streaming platform, we're on a new computer setup, and while everything is better, one of the things that unfortunately is currently not working right now, if you have noticed, is we can't get audio for a desktop for Beans. So this will be a very musicless stream, unfortunately. So I hope you're ready to put up with that. Also just to note that if you do like this show, and I'm going to explain what it is in a moment for all you new people in there. Oh, because we're on a new stream, I have no idea if the chat is properly working. In fact, I'm going to try something right now while I am having things in multiple places. Okay, so at least the Twitch chat works. So if let us know if the chat works, because we like talking with our chat. So if you have any questions, if you can't hear me, if my voice is too low, if I'm too loud, if you have questions about Pusheen over here, the blockchain, hilariously enough, that I'm actually wearing, because I always wear this here on Crypto Barons, my crazy hair, what is it like to be a hacker in New Jersey, or just any sort of thing, provided it's not incredibly racist, sexist, or just plain old stupid. Please let us know in chat. Otherwise, I assume if you're lurking that you're intensely studying what I'm saying, so keep lurking and keep learning. So anyhow, what is Crypto Barons? Crypto Barons is a show where I like different cryptocurrency and blockchain technology, and so we look at those technologies as technologies. There's so many different cryptocurrency shows that primarily focus on the marketplace and the community stuff. And while we do touch up on that a little bit, and trust me, we're going to get into that on this episode, I just blanked out. We mainly look at how is it coded? What sort of tools does it implement? If it has cool code, can we run it? Can we test the chain? What are cool hacks that you can do with it? Things like that. So that's what we cover here on Crypto Barons, and we stream every, Crypto Barons itself streams every second and fourth Saturday of the month. And October is this weird almost 5-week month, and November I think is going to be a 5-week month. So And so that's why all the streaming stuff is crazy. So this episode, which I apologize, it was supposed to start at 8, but again, we were on a new machine, and everything is pretty much almost configured exactly the way we like it, and almost a perfect setup, except for the sound on the desktop, but I have a workaround for that. I decided, hey, it's October, it's going to be Halloween, all the spooky stuff that we can't go trick-or-treating on because no one has any concept of wearing a freaking mask or going outside, so we still all have to suffer, and a bunch of us have to die, unfortunately, because of stupidity like that. So we figured all month we would celebrate with cool streams. GI Jack on Archfile Linux Perspective, which streams also every second and fourth week in a month, but it's on Thursdays instead at 7 p.m. Did his Halloween special where he looked at the Doom series, ending with his first ever playthrough of running Doom Eternal on Arch Linux. Our last Crypto Barons episode it came from the dark web, which is our first Halloween themed one, where we looked at how cryptocurrencies are used on the various dark webs such as Tor and I2P, as well as cryptocurrencies and blockchain technologies that run directly through darknet networks such as Tor. This was a pre-planned second Halloween episode, which is appropriately titled "We Can't Stop Here." This is Backcountry. And what we're going to be looking at on this episode is what's called the Brave browser. I'm going to give you a history of it, a breakdown of it. We're going to look at some really honestly cool things that it does, and then unfortunately we're going to look into some not very cool things that it does. And I just remembered something, so we're probably going to go on a short break at some point, but we're going to also look at two alternatives for the Brave browser if the negative sides piss you off too much. One is going to be really awesome, open source community thing, and one is, no matter how bad Brave browser is, this fork is even worse. So let's get into everything here. So what we're going to be doing, and this is kind of one of the new nifty features. Usually I drag myself over to the side and shrink myself down, but now watch this crazy stuff going on. You ready? Okay, 3, 2, 1. Whoa! Oh, wrong page. So yeah, now we have like cool transition stuff that we can do here. I just want to check one thing here. There we go. And yeah, so this is kind of what the desktop looks like. Actually, I'm curious about something. Does this same key command work? Ah, I see. Haha. This explains a lot of things. So, let's see. Can I didn't test this part of the Brave browser. Let's see. More tools, settings. Nope. We're going to have to do that later. So anyhow, you can just fully see my browser, but that's fine for our current purposes. So again, this is DEFCON 201 website. All this garbage up here was done at our last meeting on October 16th, where the website admin, Sarah Still, showed how Git and GitHub works. I like the pumpkin. We're going to keep that to the end of the month. And again, if you have any questions about how the show is done, and any questions about us as a group or what we're talking about here, please ask in chat, because I really like doing sort of stuff. Otherwise, keep learning. And also, because this has been delayed, I would say between 9:30 and 10 p.m. for all of you who are on dLive. That's when we're going to do the lemon drops. We have a ton of lemons, and we're going to put those in there. And if anyone's in the chat by, I would say, around 9:30, we're going to dump all of those lemons. Actually, no, at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we're going to dump all the lemons. And I just realized something terrible, so it's going to look really weird for a second. Let's see here. What just happened with the video capture here? Let's see. Just want to double check, because video capture's down here. I see what's going on. So, there we go. All right, now everything's correct. See, again, we're on a new machine. So now you can see me in the upper right corner, and let's do all of this. So, what we're going to be looking at today, did I actually load its website? I forgot to click on the website link because I am dumb. Let's see. Yeah, I actually forgot to click on the website link because I'm stupid. There we go. So what we're going to be looking at, and this is the splash page for it, is the Brave browser itself. So a bit of background about Brave here. Brave is a fork of Chromium. It was made by, now here's the part I should have done beforehand like an idiot. So I'm going to move this guy over here. Let's see. I had like a crazy long day today, so let's see. So this is the Wikipedia page where I'm trying to find a certain name in here. Yep. So it was made by a team of people, including this guy. Let's go to their website and look at it, because I think they have the creators on here. And actually, here's something really funny that we can do. What we can do is we can, let's see, I just want to see offices, support, business, press, referral program. Here's the company. Oh man, I thought this out beforehand. I actually pre-planned this entire episode. You can see all the tabs here, which we're going to go through really fast. It's just that setting up this new machine took a lot out of me. Hydration squad. So, let's figure this out here. Let's do something we usually do on here. Actually, that's the sad part. Crap, I just realized we can't do that on here, can we? Yeah, it's all spoken stuff, so you can't hear anything. You can see it though. I have no idea what this person is saying. Apparently, he's manifesting cookies around his face or something. I can't believe we got one. It's usual hacker stuff. We got one thing fixed, and now we broke something else, because welcome to technology. So unfortunately, we can't do what we usually do tonight and kind of look at the video of how they introduce ourselves. Maybe I'll bring that up the next Crypto Barons episode as like a thing to do, a thing to look at. But Brave was made by one of the I think it's the CEO, but one of the main chairs of Mozilla at the time, and actually, unfortunately, I have to exit. God, see, this makes me look really unprepared, because I am prepared. It's just this whole computer thing without the audio has been throwing me off. But yeah, Brendan Ike, I think his name is Brendan. I don't know. He sounds German. So let's see. Yeah. So a couple things about him. One, he apparently created the JavaScript programming language. So if you want to know why JavaScript is really unsecure and garbage, you can thank this smug punchable face right here. Like, look at that. Look at that is totally I invented Google type of face. And he co-founded the Mozilla Project, the Mozilla Foundation, and the Mozilla Corporation. And what happened is that he left. And here's a fun fact, as I think the only time we're probably going to bring up politics on the show. It used to say this on his Wikipedia page here. I think, let's see, did they write it here? Yeah. Let's see. Yeah. So funny enough, because a lot of people know he's like the ex-CEO of Mozilla, and a lot of people don't know is why he's the ex-CEO of Mozilla. Some people think maybe it's because of some of Mozilla's past failings, like Firefox OS and stuff like that. Some people may think it's like some sort of like business internal dispute or something. It's actually not any of those. Believe it or not, it actually has to do something really political, which is his donations. So he would take chunks of his charity and donate them to, basically, he's like a Republican, and he not only just donated to like conservative websites, but like super alt-righty and very like anti-LGBT and anti-trans organizations. And considering how many hippie LGBTQ people there are who work for Mozilla, as well as just other things that apparently annoy the crap out of people trying to work with him, probably like sipping his coffee too loud and stuff, he resigned, if I remember correctly, back in, let's see, Yeah, because he got CEO position in 2014, and then in March 26th, 2014. So only a couple of days later, uh, only 11 days as CEO, actually. April 3rd, 2014, he resigned from Mozilla because essentially so many people in the company hated his guts for that and other reasons that they all did a vote of no confidence and borked him out. So after he left, he teamed up with a bunch of people, and including a hacker that I absolutely love. And I'm just going to also preface this that any criticisms I make of Brave, and there's things to actually, believe it or not, like about Brave, is not like me being personal. Like, Brave didn't touch me in like a special spot or something. I don't have like an axe to grind. Just like what we do on Crypto Barons, no matter what type of cryptocurrency, technology, or business we look at, I am going to always look and review it extremely honestly and sincerely. So that's what we're doing here. I'm just telling you all the facts. Animaniacs, those are the facts. So he teamed up together with a bunch of people, and they made Brave. Now, what Brave is it is a fork of Chromium. So it's specifically a fork of the more open source version of Chrome. And it's a browser that does a crap ton of, its main feature is all the ad blocking. They went into Chromium and they add a bunch of measures, and we're going to look into bits of code of that to block ads, because there's caveats around that. Also, because the amount of ad and tracking blocking, they also reportedly are way faster than most browsers here. So this is comparing it to Google Chrome and Firefox. I don't know what date this is. This was apparently done by CNET. So when they did the loading stuff here, Brave loaded in 4.93 seconds. CNET's website, it's still going. Chrome took 13.04 seconds, and Firefox was still loading as that was going on. So that's kind of the, because of all that stuff, it doesn't slow your machine down. Brave is also, honestly, its UI is pretty honestly well done here. Let's see if I can find the settings tab here. Downloads, we're going to get into that in a moment. There's extensions. You don't really have to put in much. I should have probably put a dark mode in, but yeah, you have extensions here. Opened it in a new tab, just like the way Chrome does. Let's see here. Settings is very super slick UI, easy to read. Most of this, I think, except for the search engine, is all stock stuff. Let's see. Yep. Changed. I think it was originally set to Google when I changed to DuckDuckGo. Don't quote me on that, but that's what I remembered there. And you can look at, like, you can change its appearance. Put everything in dark mode here because I love dark mode because I'm one of those people. New tabs, get started. Different. This is all the different privacy stuff. So you have simple and an advanced view for when you click the little Brave thing in the corner, which we'll get to in a moment. You can see it blocks scripts, it does cookie blocking, fingerprint blocking. Here's one: allow Google login buttons on third-party sites. We will click off for that. Allow Facebook logins, enable posts. We'll click off for that. Tweet embed we'll keep for now. Did all the search engines. Web 3.0, we're going to get into that in a moment. The reason why Hangouts is turned on is because Brave has its own variant of, I believe it's Google Hangouts. It's either Google Hangouts or Zoom that you can use if you are in the Brave browser currently. Another interesting feature, which we're going to get into in a moment, is how it tries to reward creators, because since it does all this ad blocking, the idea is it doesn't want to be a browser that just blocks ads. It wants to be a browser to basically find, as they put it, a better solution to all the crazy ad block stuff. And it's going to look weird in a moment because I have to make an adjustment here that I didn't notice before until I looked at it on the big screen. There we go. That should now that should look better in the upper right corner. Again, if anyone has any questions or if I'm speaking too fast or whatever, please please let me know in chat, because I can fix stuff, except for obviously sounds from the desktop. That's still going to be a work in progress. So what it's going to do is, as you know, as the pretentious Steve Jobs would say, we don't just want to block ads. We want to make the ad system better. So in addition to blocking all the ads, they came up with a reward system for websites called Brave Rewards, which is its own cryptocurrency. Now, again, we're on Crypto Barons. We are interested in that, but there's kind of something before that I kind of want to look at a bit. So first of all, this is, and it has the Chrome problem of it can't remember pages for beans, so it's going to take a moment to load. This is Brave on GitHub, and I'm actually going to, and again, it's going to look a little jank here. We're going to go in. I'm going to type that into the chat right now. So that's the website to look at all of the code. And you can just click on the Brave browser website. As you can see, it's mostly in JavaScript, not surprising from the person who created JavaScript here. And actually what we want to look at in particular here is Brave Core. And also just to note, Brave can run on Windows, Mac OS, multiple different forms of Linux, and Android. I can't remember if there's one for iOS. It wouldn't shock me if there was. Also wouldn't shock me if there wasn't. And this is Core. This is Brave Core is a set of changes, APIs, and script for using custom Chromium to make Brave. This is all the code here for that. Let's see. What can we look at here? Let's see. Resources. Let's look at patches. Let's see what's in that folder real quick. Seems like a lot of this. Let's look at the Android build. This is a short little script that looks for the repos in Android there. Sorry if it looks kind of too bright. And I know the text is fuzzy because of the way we're, like, I think mirroring this. Again, we're making some small adjustments as we're on the machine. The machine overall is better. It's just we don't know this stuff until we start using it. So I'm just glad everything else seems to be working. So let's actually go into the Brave browser itself. Yep, Brave is for iOS. There we go. And so as you can see, because what it does here, let's see, is that it does 3 packages. It does the Chromium, the Brave Core, and we're going to look at the last thing in a minute, but it's ad block system. So let's see here. Let's see, doc source. It sees that, I think they said most of the core code has been moved to the website here, but this is the Python script that's used to to compile the constructions here. Let's look at the libraries. So there's a logging one and a utility one. Let's look at the utility one. Seems like it's a basic. So you already notice in here there's already a lot of similarities if you take a glance at the code to like how Chromium is set up on Google. We're going to run into one of the first problems of Brave right here on this next thing, which is you notice how it loads 3 different things. Now, Chrome, and it does work. The Brave browser will block a crap ton of ads, but so here's my thing about Brave, and I'm going to probably put the words out here already. It is not the worst thing in the world. If you're not too worried about the particulars that I'm going to get into, and you just want something that's like an out-of-the-box security thing with like almost no configuration, there's to me one that, and here's the key, to still be able to use Google products. There's another option out there that I will get into at the end of this, but actually a couple. But Brave is certainly not the worst one. It will do that. If you're like setting up, like you just want a browser that's going to block ads and be overall mostly secure for like your grandma, and your grandma's not too concerned about these particulars I'm going to bring in, Brave will work. I am not shitting on that. But the problem with Brave is that it started off with like 1 or 2 kind of pseudo red flags that then turned into a bunch of really solid red flags. And here's one of the oddest red flags, which is its blocking system. You're also going to notice these updates. We're going to get in that when we do the Brave reward stuff. So I just clicked that to go away. Actually, you might not be able to see it because of the Crypto Barons. You can kind of see it right above the Crypto Barons logo. So that's kind of there. And it's this piece of code here, which is appropriately titled Ad Block Rust. Now, weird thing, and Brave apparently says that it is customized from this. But what it is obviously it's Rust, hence the term. It's native Rust with a little bit of JavaScript. And the main issue, and this should be the first red flag, is it's using the add block plus syntax. It apparently tries to follow the algorithms of uBlock origin, but I'm kind of worried with the whole AdBlock Plus thing, because AdBlock Plus, there's a reason why, and I'd almost recommend turning off the ad blocking in Brave if you're super private and you want and actually install uBlock origin. Don't install them concurrently. You don't need uBlock origins if you turn all of the ad block stuff, if you leave all the ad block stuff by default on Brave. But the reason why that worries me is because most people moved away from AdBlock and AdBlock Plus, because it turns out while it did block a bunch of ads, it was actually allowing ads that it's secretly partnered with, so it wasn't blocking all the ads. uBlock origin will do all of that, and I'll get into that in a bit, but I just want to let you know that apparently the algorithm is designed like uBlock's origin, but they're using the AdBlock syntax. Kind of weird there. And before we go into the Brave reward system, the actual cryptocurrency part, I want to look at two things here. And I think what we'll do for this episode is probably a short episode, honestly, is we're gonna look at how well it says that does. Is Brave the most secure? Is it the most secure, privacy-oriented browser out there? We're gonna test that in a couple of seconds. Then we're gonna look at the actual BAT token, or the Brave, the basic attention token that is used by Brave browser, hence why this is on Crypto Barons, and how that system works. Then we're going to take a short break as I rehydrate myself and set up one or two more other things. And then when we get back, we're going to look even more in depth to the reward system, and then talk about some aftermath stuff that's kind of a problem, as well as two forks of the Brave browser. So again, if you really like what you see here, you can click that bell, like, follow, and share, subscribe at Twitch, dLive, or YouTube. When you do, we have all the alerts reset up on this new stream. It will work, and we will cheer you on, and things should be awesome. And again, also, if you have any, God, that smells good. If you have any questions about what I'm saying, if you can't hear me, if I'm too loud, please let me know in chat. Otherwise, keep lurking and keep learning. So again, when we go back to the Brave website, it keeps talking about how it is really... Oh, there's one more feature I almost forgot about that you should be able to see on here. This is kind of neat. So, like most browsers, you can open up a private window, like so, and now it's in the incognito mode. But what's really kind of nuts, right, and this is a new feature, is that you can actually open the privacy window in Tor. So, if I had everything properly set up here as my ride goes by, aka the police, we should be able to, now with the private window open in Tor, explore. Not only will I have the same routing system that Tor has, if I remember correctly, but we should be able to go to Onion websites. And we're actually going to test that right now, because we're going to go to our Onion landing page that still needs to be updated. I'm going to be still working on that. Let's type that in here. And the weird thing about, if you see the URL on the lower right-hand side of the screen here, note that I have to redo the font for that. Those are not S's, those are 5s. That's just because of the way the font is. So let's see if it can actually get our landing page through Tor with this browser window here open. Seems like it's loading. Yep, there's our Tor landing page. And I'm actually going to share our landing page in chat again. And again, because we're actually screen sharing here, I know everything kind of looks weird, so... There's the Tor URL. But yeah, I think it's really freaking awesome that, look at this, you can actually go to a .onion website. Let's go to the DEFCON website through Tor, and it'll completely work. So this is obviously their way, even though, and here's the key, I still recommend downloading and using Tor browser itself. And again, we're going to get into why in a moment. To me, that's the best option. But if you are using Brave, just to note that if you want to open up anything in Tor, if you go into the option setting and open up Tor with private, and we're going to now close the window. I just did that. Yep. If you go to the options and you open up a new private window with Tor, not only will it now be all your traffic be routed through the Tor network, but you'll also be able to go to .onion websites as if you were on the Tor browser. So that's kind of a neat feature. So I just wanted to put that out there and show that's come more recent. But yeah, it talks about here that it can block in ads and that it blocks it so well that it's so much faster. Blah blah blah. Let's see, is there anything? Let's go to the features page. Loads page 3 to 6 times faster. It is going pretty fast. Import continuing area went off. We're going to get into the Brave Awards. Experience unparalleled privacy and security. They said we're not in the business of, we're not in the personal data business. You can customize your shield settings. It's simplicity. Defaults to HTTPS. Let's see. Shields here has ad blocking, fingerprint prevention, cookie control, HTTPS upgrading, block scripts, per site shield settings, configure, clear browser data, built-in password manager, form autofill, which we usually turn off, control content access to full screen presentation, control site access to autoplay media, says do not track with browsing requests, you can choose default search engine, option to use DuckDuckGo for private Windows search, which honestly should be on by default. Let's see here. Yeah, it's a lot of security stuff. So, and let's see. Apparently, there's a paid feature for iOS only. Let's see. Apparently, they're testing out on the iOS version a VPN provided by Guardian, which honestly is a company I've never heard of. So that's kind of that. So that, as you know, is they keep advertising on Brave of how super secure and everything is. So legit. Yeah, it's going to be impressive if it does this. I'm going to put it what's called technically through the meat grinder, because I test browsers as a hobby, and we're going to find out. So we're going to start off with the most basic. Also, I want to know, out of all the tests, unfortunately, I can't check crypto jacking yet, because there used to be a really good crypto jacker tester by Opera, and now that site is not active anymore. So, but we're going to do everything else. So we're going to start off with the most basic thing. This is usually what a lot of people test with, and it's also what Brave tests with, which is done by the EFF, that's the Electronic Frontier Foundation. I'm going to quickly get their URL in the chat here. So their chat is EFF, which is at the EFF.org. And of course, I accidentally sent the logo link instead of the copy link address. There we go. So let's do this correctly. Electronic Frontier Foundation. There we go. We are part of the Electronic Frontier Alliance, which is a subset of the EFF, where we promote privacy and security, and good privacy and security for everyone out there. We literally go out, as you know, if you actually knew, which we're not going to tell you, where we live in Jersey City. We're basically at the beginning of the ghetto. I won't tell you which one, but we reach out to local people, especially people who aren't very computer literate, and we teach them about how to make their own user experience much safer and more private than it was before. So this is called I hope I pronounce this Pantopticlick, I think is how you pronounce it. And this is a basic good tracking website. Yep, EFF. Thank you, Sarah. So it's weird because the number of the viewer tracker is not working. I wouldn't be surprised if we have low numbers because I was supposed to start on time and that didn't happen. But we're going to now test with this system. So it's going to test the browser here. It's going to do a bunch of different tests. And we're going to actually, as I selected, we're actually going to test with an actual tracking company. So this should be pretty neat. I noticed that it keeps trying to jump to a different link here. So I think that was part of the test. It says, is your browser tracking, blocking trafficking ads? Yes. Is Brave here blocking invisible trackers? Yes. Does your blocker stop trackers that are included in the so-called accessible ads whitelist? Yes. Does your browser unblock third parties that promise to do not track? No. Does your browser protect from fingerprinting? It says yes, your browser has a randomized fingerprint. We're going to look at that because I'm very curious about all of that here. So let's see the full results here. So let's see. The full user agent was there. Randomized by first party domain with the browser plugin. It does the HTTPS. It knows my screen size, my time zone. which I would have to actually install. Well, that's interesting because again, we're trying to do this out of the box. There are extensions in Firefox that will scramble your time zone and your screen size. Some of this stuff I'm actually looking later because I just know system fonts. That's going to be an interesting thing here. I let everything default, so cookies are, let's see, enabled. That's kind of an issue. If you're worried about cookies, you'd have to go in and change that. Canvas fingerprint, WebGL fingerprint were both randomized. DNT header was disabled, so that's good. Ad blocker was in use. Doesn't know my CPU. Audio, we're gonna test the audio stuff in next. So overall, it honestly seemed to do pretty good, except the cookie part does make me nervous. Now we're gonna go to IP leak, and we're going to reload this page. And note that this is mainly designed to test VPNs, and obviously there's not a built-in VPN, it doesn't have anything on. So it's trying to track where I am. It obviously found me in New Jersey. We're not going to do the torrent test. It's doing some DNS address testing here. Knows that my time zone's America, New York. Knows that I'm in New Jersey. Funny enough, it's not loading the map. So yeah, I didn't randomize my user agent here. It knows that I'm on Windows. Cookies are enabled. The JavaScript is disabled on here. It knows my screen size. It knows that I'm on Brave because of the plugins that are available. Thank you, Ducky042. Duckle, I think Duckle042 for following us. I highly appreciate your follow on Twitch here. Also note at the end, again, at 10, unless we end early on the dot, and I'll keep you guys updated. If you're on dLive, we are going to share lemons. And also, when we end the stream, we're going to raid someone else's stream. And I really hope, I wish they were online, but there's a Brazilian DEFCON group that just got started called DC5511, and they just had a fantastic stream, and hopefully we'll be able to raid their online meetings in the future. That should be pretty cool. So let's see here. So that's what IP leak showed us. Ooh, and it did load the map. So it just knows that we're in like the New Jersey, New York region, which I expect because again, we're not doing there's no VPN and we're not using a VPN because otherwise we wouldn't be able to stream. And there's no browser VPN built in Brave, so I kind of expected that. Anyhow, now we're going to see how well the audio fingerprinting is because it did say that block the canvas, Flash, WebRTC, and audio, but we're going to find out. This is a cool website. I'm actually going to put the link in the chat for it that I use for in-depth. Hold on. It does multiple fingerprinting, but what it's very good at, as you could hear my hunger growls, is it really does audio. It'll actually show you the visualization of the audio fingerprinting. And so a bit of background, a lot of tracking services will actually fingerprint your website, in which they will send data requests to kind of see what you're on. So there's like the common one that a lot of things block, especially including Brave, is canvas fingerprinting, where it kind of knows like what your user agent is and what the size of your screen is, and also thus your OS. Then there's and so that's one way a browser tracker can identify you. There's also a consent, like it will send a bunch of fonts when you request that page, and so it knows what sort of fonts you are using, and that's a better guess of what type of machine you are. And then the most insidious one is recent trackers have sent low, like dog whistle like sounds through your computer. As a human, you would never hear this coming through your speakers, and it uses the sound running through your machine to further detect what type of hardware and machine that you're running. So let's go and try to fingerprint test this. So we just did the fingerprint me. Let's see if anything pops up. I'm gonna wait a couple of moments. Again, if you really like what we're doing here on Crypto Barons, don't worry, we're gonna get to the cryptocurrency in a moment. I'm just really hungry right now. You can hit that bell, hit like, share, and follow on Twitch, dLive, and YouTube. If you do, we see the pop-ups as you saw before, and we'll cheer you on because we really like that. And if you have any questions in chat, please let us know. including if I'm going too fast or slow, or if you have any questions about the subject. Otherwise, keep lurking and keep learning. So we did get an audio fingerprint here. Let's see. So there's a user fingerprint and the Chrome Android sample fingerprint. So even though it randomized it, it seems like it didn't randomize it by much. It's only off by a few points. That is not honestly good. You can see it kind of scrambles out here near the end, but basically, so it does have an audio fingerprint randomizer, but it's not necessarily, in my opinion, a good randomizer here. Let's see the properties here. So it knows that it's running the channel output, so it did get some data here. And what it's doing is, so you can either block audio printing, which is a bad idea to block any sort of fingerprinting, because blocking it will also let the bot that's spying on you, the tracker, that if you're not using it, that means it kind of knows, oh, you're privacy conscious. Now we have a piece of data. So ironically, a no answer is also an answer for it. What you want to do is you want to scramble it. You want to feed it garbage data. And honestly, even though it is scrambling it, someone who's looking at this data could probably do some guesses and think you're on a Chromium-based thing. And I believe the second Chromium-based like common browser is Brave, so they would probably make that guess if they saw it's a little off here. Let's see. Yeah, there's different types, so it kind of passed, but not really. It's still got a bunch of fonts. Which are scrambled, but it's not really, these are like a lot of base default fonts that you see on here. I do not see octo-R-bit from here, so it did at least didn't pick up that. And let's just check for CSS, and the Flash fingerprinting didn't quite work. So the full meat grinder experience, the last one we're going to do is there's an amazing website if you really want to do in-depth testing for any sort of browser called Browser Leaks. I'm going to put that in chat, and it gives all sorts of data that we could try. So first, let's try a bunch of different things. Let's first of all see if JavaScript is working. So yeah, we'd have to go into the options to turn off JavaScript because all of the JavaScript work on here. JavaScript is how a lot of nasty trackers and pop-ups and stuff will work on your system. If you're on Firefox or Chrome and also Brave, you can actually install things that will block JavaScript, although I think there's an option in Brave to turn that off. So now we're going to check WebRTC to see if that's running. That we also didn't change the settings on it. This is stock default Brave. All we did was change what our search engine was. We changed it to DuckDuckGo, if I remember correctly. And then we turned Brave Rewards on, and we entered these URLs for these tabs. That's it. So WebRTC is on by default. Let's now check the font fingerprinting. So yeah, it did seem like it. Let's see. It is giving some garbage data. Not a ton of it, but it is scrambling it. So that's actually kind of my overall problem with the Brave browser is that it's doing as advertised, but they're also advertising this is like some amazing Fort Knox thing, and that's not quite true. I'm kind of scared to click on this. Let's see what results turn up. Oh, at least ask for the prompt. So I can actually block that and it doesn't work. So at least Brave caught that. So that's nice. Let's do features detection on here. So we got JSON dump. Let's see. Hashcats, all this worked. Can't tell of any HTML5 stuff. Does recognize a bunch of web APIs. HTML5 video is working. Again, if you really want to, it seems like it's passing a lot of stuff. So again, if you really want like a good comprehensive breakdown of how good your browser configurations are, this is great to test it. So let's now try content filters. See what that scan turns up here. It's going to take a bit. Okay, so it did block. It couldn't find if it does Tor, Canvas couldn't detect, WebGL couldn't detect, CSS fonts. So it's apparently having a hard time detecting, even though it has data. Same thing with local content filters and stuff. So that's a point to Brave that it couldn't detect any of those. Java should be entirely turned off. Yep, no Java plugged in. Yep, because Java is like, people bitch about JavaScript. Same thing with Flash. Those things are just terrible. These are kind of leftover from, because this, as you can tell with all this extra space, while the website is updated, it was built a while ago. So I think they leave these on for like legacy purposes. Like who the hell? People didn't even use Microsoft Silverlight when it came out. Never mind now, except maybe some parts of Japan, and that's about it. So it seems that while Brave could be better, especially with the audio fingerprinting scrambling department, it does mostly what as advertised. It's just don't expect it to hide your IP because you would need a VPN for that. And like obviously we're not doing a VPN. And of course, if you really wanted to hide your IP, actually this might be kind of cool. Let's actually try this. This should be fun. Let's open up the private window with Tor, and we'll put the same IP leak. The Tor relay should confuse the crap out of IPleak.net. And actually, while it's doing that, I'm going to post the IP leak website in chat. Oh, that's weird. Oh, no, I didn't click on the right window, I think, right? There should be two windows. Yeah, see, it thinks we're in France, somewhere between France and Sweden. Look at all of these relays it went through. And these aren't even the correct addresses. So the Tor, so if you do want to scramble and you don't want to run a VPN, which I also don't want to, I wouldn't fully recommend if you wanted to be full private, and you had Brave running everything in the private browser through Tor, will do that for you. So that's how you would get around that without actually loading a VPN. To be honest, the Tor relay to me is a lot better than just doing a one-hop VPN because, as we explained in the last episode, Crystal Barons, Tor does 3 hops. And its onion routing system's fantastic. So let's get into the actual cryptocurrency part, and then we're going to kind of look at what websites and stuff support Brave, and then we're going to look at some controversy things, which will also allow us to look at 2 forks. So what Brave mainly does is it does this thing called, you see this weird triangle symbol, and let's actually go to the website and look up the Brave rewards on here. Let's actually go back a tab. Let's see here. Yep, let's go to the Brave Rewards website. So the way Brave is trying to get around Vimeo. Gee, I wonder why they use them. Yeah, and there's no subtitles for this, unfortunately. But yeah, so the way Brave is trying to get around this stuff is it's made its own cryptocurrency token called the Basic Attention Token, or BAT, hence why we call this, it's BAT country. And what it does is when you turn the BAT system on, what it will do is it will display these, like, and I will warn, so when it said, and I was fine with this for a while, when it was like, hey, and by the way, just to note, the BAT token system, you can opt in or opt out of it. So if later you don't want to use it or something, you can turn the whole thing off and it doesn't work. That's perfectly fine. And you can just have the ad blocking stuff on and none of this BAT stuff. But just want to mention this. So initially, Brave was like, hey, what it's going to do is instead of any old ads that are going to happen to you, when you use our new reward system, it will show you ads, but they are vetted to have non-trackers, and it will work for the BAT tokens. And me, like everyone else, just automatically assumed that, like what they're going to probably do is, you know how like when you load an ad blocker on a website and it just X's them all out? We're like, oh, so this is like us thinking, oh, so what's going to do is when you, like, let's say you go to the New York Times or Google and an ad pops up, instead of the normal Google ad or whatever, it's just going to replace that with the same spot on the website with that ad. Now, this is crazy, especially if you were using Brave on mobile. I'll never forget when I turned the BAT system on. What it does is it uses your alert system for your desktop or mobile device. And especially in the beginning, it sent so many alert ads that it's like Brave basically did not understood that the reason why only one of the reasons why we hate, half the reason why we hate ads is because of all the tracking and stuff. The other reason we hate ads is because it clutters the stream and it will make alerts and they're annoying. So one of my criticisms of the Brave authentication token and its ad system revenue is if they just replace the 2D static ads on the page with like 1 or 2 Brave ads, I'd be perfectly fine. I wouldn't even notice them on the website. The fact that, just as a warning, if you do turn it on, you are going to get notifications. You'll probably get, you saw earlier before, like a notification probably between every 5 to like 30 minutes. So they're not as bad as before where it just kept sending you ads every minute. But it does use your alert system. So if you're on Discord, when someone makes a post and it goes bling and sends you an alert, that's the type of stuff that it does, but with ads. So if you do not like obtrusive ads, turn off of the system because it will drive you insane. But yeah, when you load it up, and we're gonna look into this, it creates a wallet here. Let's see if it shows anything. Yep. And we're going to actually look into it itself. And what it does is you can either set like an allowance or that goes monthly, or you can go to websites directly, and you can also claim ads and tokens there. And if you are a website that is hooked into the Brave Rewards program, you can cash out those ads and trade your tokens in for real money. And in fact, we're going to look in a moment of how much. Actually, let's do that now because I'm on here, and this is kind of skipping ahead. But where is the search bar for this? I know this. Here it is. Let's look up. Let's see where BAT currently is at on the market. So it is down. Is 0.21 something of a US dollar. So it's currently down. The token chart's loading, but the charts say but I've been told by people that you can see, look at that spike over there, and now it's like you can see it dipping here, that BAT does create a lot of people good revenue. I've spoken to websites. We actually were debating back and forth for a while if we should actually be on the Brave Rewards program. I think we're still kind of debating that, but we lean towards no. And again, near the end of this stream, I'm going to detail why we're like that, because you're going to see some of the not so great things, unfortunately, that the Brave team has done. But I've heard from other people that you can create revenue. And also a note with the token system, it's not just personal websites you can do this with. You can do the reward system with like your YouTube channel or your Twitch stream or stuff like that. As long as you give it a URL for the Brave Rewards network, that's the URL that will actually do the token system for us. So that's what it kind of looks like now. If we actually, let's go to a normal. Yeah, if we click here again, I just recently loaded this, but it loads up here. We could add funds. You'd have to verify on here. You need 25 minimum BAT to create an Uphold account. When you do Uphold, they've added security. So it used to be that you could do any token. And I think on the mobile version, it just automatically does the tokens. But in order to like add funds and cash out and stuff for Brave, now you have to go through that whole like Coinbase thing where you have to like hold up your driver's license and your social security number or birth certificate and smile in the camera, and then it takes 3 days, and then you're like clear to go. So just also note that if you're going to add, instead of just doing the ad things, if you're going to add funds, or if you're part of Braves Reward and you're going to pull out, you're going to have to go through the same Coinbase type ID system. The next, so let's see the rewards. So right now we actually just earned 0.0020 BAT just by all the ads that just recently popped up on here. And then yep, we can see breaking down all the sites that we visit as well, monthly contrib, and basically by if we use this browser to November 5th, we're going to get a payment out, and then eventually when it builds up over time, and I used to have a huge cache on my mobile device, you can actually go and either, again, directly reward people BAT tokens who are part of the Braves Rewards program, or it will just auto-renew and you can set the amount and everything. So that's kind of how that works. And also to note, because we're going to bring this up later, the Brave Authentic token is a public ledger. So as you can see here with just your own tracking stuff, you can look at the actual blockchain listing and someone will know what you're spending on. That's actually, to me, a huge criticism of Brave, because there is only X amount of websites, and it's a good amount, and there's some really important websites on there, and we're going to look at them in a bit, but there's only X amount of websites that are on the rewards program. So you could actually like look at someone's wallet history and know, because it won't know technically if you're visiting a Brave website, a Brave sponsored website or not, or like which website, but it'll know if it is accepting the Brave Rewards program or not. And because there's so few that are accepting the rewards program, you can still kind of map out or track someone's web traffic just through that system. So again, that's one of my criticisms. Although to be fair, again, you can turn this entire token system off if you want to. And we're going to kind of get into sort of the annoyances about wanting to. Finally, the last feature we're going to go into, and then we're going to take a short break and then get into a bunch of stuff. Oh, and see, there was another ad here. What's better than compound interest up to 275 BTC bonus? And actually, I'm going to try this. Let's click on this ad. Yep, and it just popped up the ad in a new, a BlockFi ad. This weird vampire teeth thing. And it just opened up another tab, like right next to the one we're currently in, and there's the ad. And I'm pretty sure, I think, depending on how fast the chain goes, if I reflect this, yep, it actually did it instantly. We went from 0.20 BAT to 0.45 BAT. So, again, from just clicking on an ad, we just earned all of that. And you saw that, like I said, before when this started out, it was just, at one point, I remember when I turned it on, my entire screen was nothing but ad pop-ups, and it was driving me absolutely bonkers. Actually, what I'm going to do, just to make sure that we can see the ads, this is the only time I'm going to try to feature ads, just because that's the whole thing of the browser. I'm actually going to move our stream a bit up here so you can see it a bit better and a bit more of the notifications that are going on. I'm just going to make this fit just a little better. There we go. So let's go back to the browser here. But there's one last thing I also want to bring up, and because this is going to tie into a security problem later. This also supports Web 3.0 websites. Now, there's going to be a future episode, probably. All right, it's either going to be the first episode in November, which will be next month of Crypto Barons, the first episode in December, or it's going to happen sometime early next year, but we're actually going to go into Web 3.0 stuff, as it's called. I'm not going to get in that fully into here today. What it basically is, Web 3.0 are websites and applications that run and directly interact on either blockchains or cryptocurrency wallets. So, for example, on one of our previous episodes, we covered ZeroNet, which is a dark net that uses a blockchain system to privately ID users without giving their information, and then uses BitTorrent in order to actually download fully the website, so that way you can view them offline. So it's direct peer-to-peer. That is technically a Web 3.0. There are a lot of cryptocurrency games, like when we covered Coinoroids when we did our DEFCON Safe Mode episode. That was Web 3.0, even though it wasn't using any particular Web 3.0 software in the browser. The thing about Brave is that it will work software-wise in the browser. But another thing they have done, and it's one of their big partners, is they've teamed up with Binance and Gemini. As you notice here, you can actually add crypto wallets to your browser here. So this is, you can buy directly from Binance over here. Is it Binance or Binance? I can't remember. You can also purchase through Gemini. And then here's the current Brave rewards summary. And if I can bring up the options in here, yeah, you can. There's a tab in here. You click on crypto wallets, and yep, here it is. And it's like, do you understand? I understand. And it's going to download the components right now. And it's talking about accepting responsibility and risk with owning crypto wallets. But yeah, what we can do is we can create a new local wallet on here. Let's see. We can also create a Ledger hardware wallet, so you can interact with dApps and make transfers, or you can connect directly to your Trezor hardware wallet if we had one plugged in. This is my Trezor hardware wallet if I had one, for all the Fairly Odd Parents fans out there, all two of you right now watching the stream. But yeah, you can go in, you can create a new Brave local wallet. And we're not going to do it right now, but you can create Binance, not Binance. Binance. That's actually, thank you, sir. So that's actually a great way to remember that. I'm going to keep that from now on. He said Binance, not Binance. See, I'm probably subconsciously saying Binance because we're going to probably cover Binance in the future. And in my opinion, a lot of its stuff should be chucked in a bin. So that's probably my subconscious speaking. But I digress here on Crypto Barons with the physical blockchain. So we're not going to, we might create a new wallet on Break, but I just wanted to point that out, that you can add cryptocurrencies wallets on here, and if you encounter a website, a Web 3.0 system, you will be able to directly interact with that cryptocurrency wallet. Opera can also do the same thing. Again, we're going to have an entire episode that's just about Web 3.0 stuff. So that's another feature to know. So we have reached the halfway, actually the 2/3 point of our episode. I'm going to go on a short break. As you can see, there's some ice cubes left in here. I'm going to go rehydrate. It's unfortunately, again, going to be musicless, although I am tempted. You know what I'm going to do? We're going to do this in the most bootleg way possible. I am going to actually load up a song that is on my phone that is actually open. It's free content to use, no attribution, all that beautiful stuff. So I just need to scroll back through my post history here to find it. I think it's called White Bat. I know, the White Bat sounds like a cryptocurrency. It's pretty weird like that. So let's see. Which episode was this? I know it was in... I know we saw it very... It should be up here somewhere. Here it is. So yeah, I'm actually going to load up this thing. Ironically enough, oh, shoot. Really? Okay. Yeah, I'm going to load this guy up. I'm going to take a break. Hopefully you'll be able to hear it on the microphone. And when we get back, we're going to go into who's on the Brave Rewards program. Some of the unfortunate things that have happened with Brave. Like, again, even if you remove politics with the CEO that hates LGBTQ people and has financed things against it, we're going to go into actual tech privacy reasons why you might not want to use Brave. And then we're going to look at two forks that couldn't be more contradicting of each other. One fork is we're going to try to get it to run. We're going to look at the code of it. We're going to try to get it to run, and it's really cool. Another is honestly one of the worst forks of a Chromium project. Like, it's one of the worst Chromium projects I have ever seen next to Google Chrome itself. So sit back and relax, and I'll see you in a couple of bits here. So hopefully you can hear the music on here, and we shall be back. Oh wait, now is the... Hold on. I'm curious. Okay, I see what's going on. We're going to have to figure this out later. It's getting the reverb from the microphone, that's why. All right, so we'll be back in a moment here, so stay tuned. So hi everyone again. We are back. I hope you like the copyleft music I was playing. It's kind of Halloween themed. I'm actually going to also play this for the outro as well. It's a really good channel. They're called White Bat Audio. I don't have the URL, but I could actually make a guess of what it is. So I'm actually going to type White Bat Audio. This is our alternative when we have Pretzel and we love Pretzel. But right now, unfortunately, Pretzel is not working for us. Not because Pretzel's bad or something, but we haven't properly configured this to read desktop audio. Because welcome to DEFCON 201, where no hardware or software works and the points don't matter. But that should be a link to their awesome YouTube page. We hope that you check them out. And as a reminder, again, I'm actually going to extend this. So I don't know if I can do this 10 minutes. So I would say at 10:20, we're going to do the lemons. So hopefully there are going to be people on here that are on dLive and at the 10:20. And next time, I think I'm going to put the actual timestamp number of when we're going to do the lemons. But if you're on dLive at around 10:20, we're going to do that, and that should be the end of the episode. So I hope students. Also, again, I'm Sidepocket. I'm one of the two co-founders of DEFCON 201. If you want to find more about us, you can go to our website at defcon21.org or follow us on social media such as Twitter at defcon21nj. My show is Crypto Barons. I'm the one with the blockchain, literal blockchain here, where we look at cryptocurrency and blockchain technologies as actual technologies and not weird snake oil salesman thing. So actually, before we move on, I want to quickly check out something on Brave Browser's GitHub page. So, want to see this thing. I want to see if there's anything on here about the actual token. They have the community website on here. They have Jitsi Meet. That's what it is. It's a Brave Meets is actually a in-browser forked version of Jitsi Meetup. Wow, they have a lot of crap. They have a lot of repositories here. I don't know if we can even find the thing. I might be able to search in the repository itself. Although I'm not logged in. Here we go. Crypto. Shared crypto utilities for Brave browser. It's not the BAT authentication token, but at least that's something. Also written in JavaScript. We're going to load up that and look at the code real quick here. So you can actually install under NPM separately. So that's kind of freaking Travis.yml. Do I even want to know? Remove Istanbul and flow. That sounds like a song. Move Istanbul, not Constantinople. Watch, we're now going to get flagged for me just singing that one line. There's a JSON package here. Let's load up giant crypto package that's in my pants. So yeah, it seems that that's it being compatible with all the different crypto wallets that you could spin up, as we kind of saw before. Look like I'm like cocaine here with the nose. Every time I stream, something... my nose just acts up. I don't know why it does. I don't know if it's like I'm being cursed. Am I allergic to live streaming? Is it all the white powder I put up there? I have no idea. That's a joke, by the way. I have no idea. The only white powder I put on is on my bum to make it fresh and shiny. No, I have no idea why my nose just decides to always itch and act up when I'm on live streaming. It's a conspiracy. Probably just someone with a voodoo doll stabbing my face multiple times. Let's see. I just want to see. There's a video bridge. I don't see... I see Brave Awards for the iOS. Made in Swift, because that's work natively. Let's at least look at that, and then we'll continue on. Because this next segment should be quick, but it's going to be really important. See, UI framework for doing the Brave rewards on the Brave iOS. You use Brew, obviously. I'm going to actually have to check that out later. I'm going to try to build the code on the one Mac that we have that's floating around. So yeah, there's a Swift YAML right here. This definitely looks like Swift, aka somehow they took Perl and made it more confusing. Travis seems to really get around on Brave. Wonder if there's someone on the team named Travis. So yeah, I think I'm done because we could comb forever trying to look for like actually, let's try one more page. Let's see one more page and see if we actually get to the token. We have the hash set here. for serialization and decentralization. Brave, Bloom, Node, browser laptop. As Rapport, privacy-preserving reporting algorithms. I'm going to open that as its own tab. We'll look at that in a second. Squirrel windows. I didn't know the Windows version was full of squirrels. You learn something new every day. I wonder how many pages there are of this. So let's see. Record. Electron. So that's the Electron debugging. Swaggy co-founder is going to walk by any moment now, so just keep alert on that in chat. We hived him, helicopter in front of him. I don't know. Let's see. They have a SHA-3 KeyCat environment under Node.js. C++ extension. God, that's the last thing I want to see is Node.js and C++ in the same room together. You talk about like a coding nightmare. Okay, so it only seems there's a couple of pages here. It's a Ledger browser. Let's open that up. I'm also interested because one of the things we've done is now we can watch the stream on the TV natively in our new computer. And I actually think it lags even more than it did when I was doing the Chromecast thing. That's kind of fascinating to watch, but we'll figure this out. Oh, God, what's this with WordPress? A plugin that enables well-known URL support from WordPress. Oh, God damn it. Why would you use WordPress for anything? For real. Now, there's literally, I have a actual hacker's tool. I forget what it's called right now. I'll show it off on a future stream. Maybe I'll do this. I'll show it off on like Crypto Barons before the end of the year. And all it does is it scans. If you have a website that's running on WordPress, whether it's a blog or you made your website on WordPress, like, here's a hint. The NYC 2600 website is built on WordPress. Go have fun. But I have a tool that literally scans your WordPress website. I just put in the URL, and it will find exactly how you built it and what flaws you have in your version, because all versions have flaws in WordPress. And then I can load up something like Metasploit, type those flaws in, and point it towards the URL, and just destroy your website right there. So that's a fun thing. Ooh, the badge matrix. Dodging cryptocurrency and bullet time. I'm pretty sure that's what some of these snake oil crypto mongers. That's probably our alternate reality stream is crypto mongers. Install Atom shell pre-built using npm. I don't see anything, especially for the Brave authentication token. I think they're using a modified Electron to do the Brave. Actually, let me search that up. Let's see. Brave authentication token GitHub. And yeah, sorry, the laptop thing is kind of a little waggy, so we're gonna fix that later on here. Let's see. Just getting a bunch of garbage here. Yeah, it's okay, fine. So let's look at some of the other things that popped up here. So there was Rapport in here. So let's see. There's a novel privacy technology that allows inferring statistics about populations while preserving the privacy of its individual users. This repository, its analysis code is written in Python and R. Brought to you by the letter R. You can run a demo of this. Let's see. If you don't have a Linux box in handy, you can view the generated output. Okay. That's cool. I have no comment on that. I just thought that was a weird, cool thing. Let's see. You can run a demo of it. Oh, they have a paper for it. Let's see what the paper is for. Paper! We need rolling papers. Randomized, aggregable, privacy-preserving oral response. Did MIT name this? No, Cornell University, just as bad. And no, I'm not going to donate to your stupid thing. Let's see, randomized, blah, 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 or Rapport is a technology for crowdsourcing statistics for end-user client software anonymously with strong privacy guarantees. In short, Rapport allows the forest of the client data to be studied without permitting the possibility of looking at individual trees. By applying randomized response in a novel manner, Rapport provides the mechanisms for such collection as well as for blah, 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 blah. Particular Rapport permits statistics to be collected in population of client-side strings with strong privacy guaranteed for each client without linkability of their report. So it sounds kind of like what we were talking about with blockchain. This is not a blockchain tech, but where we're talking about stealth addresses where someone knows that you made a transaction, but they can't see all the details of the transaction. I guess that's what it's doing here, but like the sort of like telemetry data. So it sort of knows like if you're on a bunch of news websites, so as opposed if you're on like a bunch of consumer websites and what percentages, but it doesn't know specifically you're on dildos.com or on The Onion, So I think that's what they're going for here. So that's neat to know. I'm gonna have to go back and look at that. There's also the electron debug symbols, which I guess installs all the little stuff for the Electron wallet here. Ledger balancer. This repos depreciation. Bat balance. There we go. A bat balance. It's like a bat bomb, if you get that reference from Batman and Robin. I am terrible with jokes tonight. Find the balance associated with a bat wallet here. So let's see. So there's an index file, all written in JavaScript here. So let's see. It breaks it down by name, site, server, path, method, payload, confirmed, unconfirmed, description, and environment. And it seems to do a bunch of if-and results from there, syncing back with the actual blockchain itself. And then it links to down here the display that's built into the plugin, aka this guy, on the Brave browser. So that's it. What does it say? We're in the 1%. Attention, 1%. We're the 1%. We're the 1%. We don't get to pay taxes. That's amazing. So yeah, that's the bat balance. I'm always gonna call it the bat balance, based after how Robin says a bat bomb in Batman and Robin, because I am that old. And then as you can see here, it pre-built Electron binaries here for command line use and npm. This allows for the installation of the Electron wallet here. And then the last GitHub here, is the back to the ad block. So let's go into our original topic here, and let's note that, like I said, for the Brave reward system, how do you know which websites you can actually get rewarded for? Well, if you note here, there's like a little blue check mark. I know that usually means something else in Twitter, but there's a blue check mark above the bat flotation logo. To note, if you go to GitHub, there's no blue check mark over here where my mouse cursor is. If you go back to Brave, there is one, because Brave is one of these. If you see that blue check mark, that means that it's a website that's compatible. In fact, there is a website called batgrowth.com, and you can go to batgrowth.com/publishers. I'm going to post the link right here. And it will actually give you a whole list of websites. It's up to 1,318 of them. Now, that does seem a lot, and it is a lot, but also note that there are literally, as Trump would go, billions and billions of websites out there. So, again, if they know you're on Bat Growth, and there's also like certain major websites that you are inevitably going to hit, they can kind of guess on where you're going. And again, that to me, that is just a kind of criticism. And let's look at some of these websites that have these blue check marks. So one of them is privacytools.io. I'm actually going to share that in the chat again. Let's see. Here's the contract source is nice. Thank you, Siricel. See, I can't function today. And actually, I think we can do this at 1020. So if not 1020, we're going to do this at 1020. All Ethereum. Yep. It's the Ethereum source code here. I'm going to copy pasta that. Let's see. What stupid thing are we not using? Let's go away from Cornell. So thanks to Siricel, we were sent over to, this crowd sale function, safemessage.sol. Yep, this definitely, this with the .sols is probably, it's all Ethereum focused. I'm not surprised, because again, we're going to cover Ethereum in a future episode, but like Ethereum, while the Ethereum coin, both Ethereum and Ethereum Classic, which is why they actually made Classic in the first place, while they do have monetary value, the strength of the Ethereum network is not necessarily the Ethereum token, but of the, and you guys just reminded me, I forgot to put, I'm going to do this on the stream as well, because I'm supposed to have a scrolly thing. I forgot to put on our Twitch page and our dLive, the actual cryptocurrency wallets you could donate cryptocurrency to. Yes, you can donate cryptocurrency to us. if you have a specific request of what you want to donate to, because we have a Konami wallet that covers a crap ton of coins, including crap coins, please let us know, and I'll put the receive wallet link in the chat. But in the future, we should have a little scrolly thing that will go through all of them, as well as like it being like in non-scrolly text directly on our Twitch and dLive pages and YouTube. So there's that. But yeah, if you go to backgrowth.com, you'll send you a list. So let's look at a bunch. So one is privacytools.io. I have to recommend this website because what's so great about it is privacytools.io. They also have, and let's actually scroll down here. This will be fun. They also have their own v3 onion URL. So if we actually open this in the new private with browsing with Tor on Brave and go to it, it should also load up privacytools.io in this browser. It's going to take a moment because it's going to do the onion routing and its thing, especially the V3s take a lot slower, but we should be able to get this to properly load. If not, I'll just go back to the normal page and we'll go back to that tab later. We're going to go back to that tab later. But yeah, what I like about privacytools.io is that it provides different online services, browsers, website extensions, and other tools that you can use in order to sort of discuss like spying laws and stuff to keep your privacy and security in check. So, and here's an interesting thing to note. We could probably use the Wayback Browser for this. Actually, let's try doing that. That should be neat. And actually, that brings us to the other website that supports that's part of the Brave Rewards program, which is the Internet Archives. That's on archive.org. If it will actually load, there we go. So I'm actually going to go back to the stream. We're going to put archive.org. Cool thing about archive.org is we have our own account on archive.org, and we actually hydration. We have videos dating back to when we used to meet in person. Remember that? Oh, there's the onion on of those meetups and awesome speakers such as Liz Fong Jones and Sarah So, who's currently in chat and is a DC201 member. So that's one of the things that we love. Let's go to. Let's see. Let's look at search archived websites. Let's enter that URL, see if it brings up anything. Because I want to see if we can go back to an older version. So it's going to go in the Wayback Machine. It didn't go too far back, but let's look into. Let's see if we can load up the page. Let's look at July 9th and see if we can find an interesting factoid. But yeah, well, that's loading up here. Yep, there we go. Found it. So here's an interesting thing. So let's quickly go back to privacytools.io and look around. But you can get it recommends web browser websites and extensions. I just scrolled down too far. You can also look at software for any of things, whether you want open. A lot of these are open source too. So I know, and they'll let you know about that. So whether it's open source and email clients that can accept different encryptions, password managers. My absolute favorite is KeePass XC, not normal KeePass XC, because it's open source and it keeps everything on a local file as opposed to holding all of your passwords on the internet. You can look at, let's see, real-time communication stuff, such as you have Signal here, Element. Ooh, I just realized they removed a certain application. Briar, Jammy. Ooh, that's some juicy stuff right there. They actually took my advice and removed that. Holy crap. I'll get into that later of what it was. That's not good. That amused me. I haven't checked that section recently. Productivity tools, file sharing, file encryption. Onion share is great. All sorts of things. And include even, if we go back a page here, you can also even, if you're sick and tired, which you should be of, and they warn about how terrible Windows is, there's also, what operating systems, whether you're on a desktop, advanced users for desktop, Tor-focused, mobile operating systems. Ooh, they finally put Calyx on here. That's another one of my recommendations. I'm very active on the privacytools.io user community. It just has so many good... I'll say it out loud and we'll talk about it later. Keybase got removed. Probably due to there was an argument about their parent company Zoom, and I think basically Zoom pulled so much bull crap that they canceled it, because I was the one who posted about Keybase being bought out by Zoom, and I think I got a ton of Reddit gold for that, and I think that got like 600 plus replies. Yes, I was about to get into that. That's why I went to Internet Archive. So if you notice something, and the thing is, they constantly, and we got another ad from Toddle. I'm going to click on it. Or Toodle. It's another exchange. You're going to notice a lot of these ads, because it's who's ever partnered with the Brave Rewards program. Most of these ads are from other cryptocurrency vendors. So, not all of them, but a bunch of them are. So, they keep a constant update list. Also, real quick, they have their own security tool, privacy tools you can use online. So, they have their own instance of search, which is a great search engine. That's that thread. Their own instance of Mastodon, their own Matrix instance, their own PeerTube, which is actually really new, their own private bin, stuff like that. And they're constantly, as you can tell with some of our reactions, they're constantly up to date on this. Now, here's where you're going to notice this. And it'll be interesting, because I'll load up Ciracell's thing later, and we're going to see if this is the case. So you'll notice the browsers for desktops. Let's look at from last year. If you notice, not to mention they have the amazingly way ugly, looks like it came from 2002 Tor logo. But you'll notice there's 3 browsers: Firefox, Tor, and Brave. And when we go to today, it's Firefox and Brave. We're going to get into that in a moment. Hang on to your butts for that one. So, let's see. So we already did privacy tools and Internet, the archive.org, including the Wayback Machine. If you go on Brave browser and you have BAT tokens, you can donate to them or auto-donate. A couple of others, and we're just going to blow through these quick. Search engine DuckDuckGo, if it will load. This is one of the reasons why I hate Chromium. Also takes Brave authentication token. And by the way, when I talk about the bad sides with Brave, the rewards program is its own separate thing, even though it is integrated into Brave browser. So if you do not like Brave browser, do not boycott these websites. Do not boycott DuckDuckGo. Do not boycott especially privacytools.io. These are honest websites. From what I was told, the BAT, even though it's apparently currently on a slight downslope, it is a good revenue source. And we're going to actually look at a video from TechLore, and he still uses it. And he's actually one of the biggest whistleblowers on, or horn shouters on Brave. And he still uses the Brave Rewards program for his own Twitter and social media sites. You can get good, legit money from the BAT token system. The problem, there is a problem with the ledger, but it's not necessarily the BAT token system, and it's not even the tech and code behind Brave, although, again, there's a thing with the code that's happened. It's the people in charge of this service. But let's look at some other people who are into this. If you're into crypto, CoinMarketCap, which we just took a look at when we looked at the BAT authentication token. And in fact, I'll bring up the page again. Also supports it. CoinMarketCap is a great way to, besides, I personally like CoinGecko myself, but CoinMarketCap is sort of like its like rival, and it's really good to look at here's a crypto, you can look up cryptocurrency, find its website, social media, and look at its market value and crap like that. If you're into video games, and especially you like cool indie games, itch.io, I hope that's how you pronounce it, itch.io is a place where you can download indie games with no DRM on there, and a lot of really cool titles on there. So if you want to get back to some awesome gamers, and particularly independent developers, that's another website who's linked up with them. Another one is, so here's a fun thing. Let's go back to GitHub. You'll notice GitHub doesn't have the Brave Rewards seal of approval here. Neither will, if I remember correctly. And actually, let's type that in, because this shouldn't have it either. GitLab also shouldn't pop up. Give it a moment. Yeah, there's no check. There is one code repository, probably one of the oldest ones that does have that. And that is... Oh, I'm thinking of the wrong thing. There is a code repository I forgot to bring up on here, but the terrible video service known as BitChute is also on the rewards program. So, but there is one that is on here. I'm going to actually get to that in a moment. If you're looking for tech and hacker news, Hacker Noon, and actually, if I remember correctly, they're the first one I ever encountered that announced that they were a Brave Rewards program, personally for me, is on here. They're kind of like a cross. They sometimes mention hacking news. They're kind of like a weird cross between hacking security news, the stuff that Engadget reports about, and Hackaday. And that's kind of what Hacker Noon is. Sometimes they have a bunch of fluff pieces, but they're pretty cool. Another major website that actually deals with Brave authentication tokens because they're sick and tired of begging their own users to donate stuff is Wikipedia. The big old wikity wik with all the world's knowledge is also part of the Braves Reward program. The Guardian, there's also the Washington, I think the Washington Post is also supported, but that and the Guardian are also part of the Brave Rewards program. So there's two major news organizations. I'm also going to check, let's see. I just want to check this because I know there is a code repository that's part of the Brave Rewards system. Okay, so it's not Bitbucket. I'm going to have to look up this later because I know one exists. And then finally, for everyone watching this, you want a really, really, really super big, hardy with a focus on hard laugh. Hardy. Guess what major website, and it's one of the biggest earners for the BAT token, is part of the Braves Reward service? Just guess. Whether it's any sort of piece of technology, whether it's cryptocurrencies, the printing press, video games, virtual reality, VHS, DVD, live streaming, live cam streaming like what we're doing, it's going to be porn. Rule 34, if I can get this to load properly, is one of the top earners for the Brave Rewards program. And I chose this image because this is Camellia from who is what's her superhero thing? I should know this. Is from not Captain Marvel. I think it's Marvel Girl. My brain's not working. But the characters from Jersey City, I just thought this was a funny joke. So all of your terrible Rule 34 porn are supported by the Brave Rewards program. And I'm not going to scroll any down further, or I'm actually wouldn't be shocked if we're already getting kicked off like the stream, but just wanted to put that out there. So now that we've looked at all the we lurked too, but all the partners who are part of the Brave Rewards program, don't go to B yet, just don't. So now that we've looked at all of that, outside of some stuff that's kind of not working, like cookies are on, Google, if I remember correctly, is the default browser thing, it does what it mainly says. It blocks a bunch of ads, and it also, it blocks a bunch of ads, and it also has a cool cryptocurrency token reward system that even after all the negative stuff I'm going to say here, it completely works. And people make good money off of it. So what could there be a possible major flaw in here besides the fact that BAT token is a public ledger, but that's like kind of like a more minor concern, because again, it doesn't know what websites are going on. It just knows if it's a Brave Rewards program person or not. Well, here's all of this thing, and honestly, I'm gonna introduce this, and then there's a really awesome individual named Techlore, who and let's actually switch out of this real quick. You should check out his YouTube page. We're gonna his YouTube page. We're gonna look at him in a moment here. Where is the display on here? Because here it is. And actually, we're gonna switch back to the chat face thing. So I have to fix that transition. It didn't quite go right. So there's always been a thing that, since it's using cryptocurrency, and also because of the unscrupulousness of the CEO, the ex-Mozilla CEO, And the fact that it's still putting in ads, even though they're supposed to be non-tracking ads, in your system, as G.I. Jack once famously said, it is not. Let me just adjust the volume on this. There we go. That should not be ear splitting. It's not a if, it's a when they're gonna start doing some stupid things. And the first, there was basically there was a bunch of bad dominoes being set up, but nothing was knocked over yet. And then the first domino that fell, that hurt, is a bad, basically. So remember how we said before that Binance, you can have a Binance Binance wallet. I keep wanting to call it Binance wallet. You can have Brave linked to your Binance wallet account. Binance is one of the main partners of Brave. In fact, you could argue that they are probably like the main sponsor of Brave. And technically, there should be nothing wrong with that, even though I have feelings about Binance itself. The problem is when you start doing URL code injection in the URL bar that then starts manipulating where you go. So, the things that usually Brave tries to prevent, which we actually didn't test for. I'll test it in a moment. But things like tab napping and stuff, where when you enter a URL, you ever had that thing where you entered a URL and you clicked and then it automatically forwards to a different website? There was something automated in Brave's programming that did that, unfortunately. But as I switch the screen here, I'm going to have TechLore go into the deep dive of why this is a problem and also offer up more details on some of the stuff he was saying there. So let's hear what TechLore, who's this awesome personality, we have a bunch of videos from him that we play at conventions when we have booths, who explains a lot of privacy and security stuff at a very low down-to-earth level. He's going to explain the whole situation here, and so I will see you shortly in a bit. So take it away, virtual TechLore.
Most of you know about the Brave browser, an out-of-the-box browser designed for user privacy and security. It has been my go-to recommendation for specific users. You can learn more about those and my overall thoughts on who the browser is for in our Brave video review. However, some aspects of Brave send red alerts that turn a lot of people away. Be it the gay-bashing CEO, their Brave reward system, the creators who shill the browser, the BAT cryptocurrency, or their most recent affiliate scandal, which we covered. All browsers have had scandals and complaints with no perfect track record, including Firefox. However, this video is aimed at people who like the idea of Brave and its awesome out-of-the-box experience, but hate the extra stuff surrounding the project. If you fall into that category, which I actually think includes a lot of people, I have a very cool project to show you today. Brave is open source, meaning the code can essentially be viewed, modified, and criticized by the community. Braver is a fork of Brave, meaning they have taken the Brave code and are planning to gut out all of the, what you may call crap, like anything related to cryptocurrencies, ads, and Brave rewards.
Sorry about that. I accidentally realized I had the wrong video. But no, we are gonna look into this. So let me explain what's going on here. Sorry, that was a later video. See, this makes me look so unorganized. This is literally because when we start later, my brain just goes all out of whack. But let's go back to the topic here. Sorry about that. Let's turn on the view here. So unfortunately, again, this is the newer version, but let me kind of explain to you what would happen. So what would happen is, I'm going to preload this page. You would start typing in a URL to Binance or cryptocurrency, and it would autofill the rest of it for you to a specific URL that would try to link to a Binance wallet, whether you had one or not. And there was also some odd referral stuff here. So as it says, if you typed in Binance.us, it will autofill to Binance.us/em. And I'm actually going to click on this sort of thing because I don't know if there's like an image to that. Yeah, I can't find the image to that. And honestly, if I had more prep time, I would load up older code and explain what you mean here. So let's see. Just want to see if there's any other stuff. So yeah, so that was the problem here, is that basically they were, when you start typing in Binance, it would autofill to a certain referral link. And there's two problems with this. The minor problem, because it's honestly not that minor, is Brave was programmed to autofill something for you. Even if you have the autofill turned off, which I believe it does by default, it would still autofill this. And this is a problem because if they can do this to one of their supports people, which is Binance, what other things can they do? The fact that they even thought of to forward an URL over, and I'm just going to adjust something very minor here. You know, it's sort of like, what could they also autofill in? Could you type DuckDuckGo and it would go to Google instead? Would you be able to type in like news or Washington Post and it automatically took you to like the Guardian? Like, this is a big problem because it's built into the code to do this sort of autofilling. Now, basically within like a couple of hours, they made a push new update and they rolled that whole thing back. But again, as TechLore once said, and I agree with him, the core thing about privacy and security is about trust. And that really broke a lot of people's trust. And once you break trust, is near impossible, if not right out impossible to earn it back. I mean, look at what happened with Zoom, where Zoom had the whole where their CEO went blur and talked about how we support law enforcement, and so like you have to pay for the encryption service because if you're free, you might be a criminal element. Never mind that right now there at the time and still is, there were giant protests about police brutality, and everyone's using Zoom to try to communicate against police brutality and overreach, and that's what Zoom said. And even though they went backtracked, no one wants to be with Zoom ever. And it also hurt Keybase, which Zoom recently purchased. So that's how much trust really plays into. So again, that's why I like privacytools.io. Everything is talked and vetted, and it's an open discussion, and it keeps getting updated for that reason. And the reason why I'm bringing you up this thread is that TechLore himself posted about it, and he ended up in this very weird, creepy argument with the CEO of, and he talks about trust here with the CEO, and I'm going to see if I can bring up that thread, because I thought I had more of the thread in here, but apparently I didn't. Here we go. So what happened is that Brendan here tried to clarify what TechLore said, and it basically drove home into it more. So what they officially put out, so the CEO, Brendan Eck, the gay bashing guy, wrote, "We made a mistake we were correcting. Sure, Jan. Brave's default autocompletes revamped to Binance.us in the address bar to add an affiliate code. We are a Binance affiliate. We refer users via the opt-in trading widget on the new tab page, but autocomplete should not add any code. Thanks all these people and other crucial feedback, blah, blah, blah. With Brave, we're trying to build a viable business, blah, blah, it's all fluff stuff." And so as TechLore pointed out, as many others did, because he said it was a misapplied search deal, client ID precedent on top of a desire to attribute all the in-browser ways new users to reach their partner, TechLore wrote, but did Brave receive financial compensation for these affiliate links? And they're like, no, not for the auto-completing default, which was our idea, not Binance's again. Any shared commissions would come after and only on Bitcoin and Ethereum trades. The main flow is the new tab trading widget, which we saw over at the new page here. That's that. We click on that. That's the widget. Where did my tab go? Here we go. Not the autocompletes. We shouldn't have altered typed in domains on principle. And TechLore then replied, well, no one makes any money from users just clicking on affiliate links. It's always purchased made afterwards, so there's indirectly a financial benefit to this. Saying you aren't compensated from affiliate link is beyond misleading, especially with no disclosure. This is also done with Coinbase, Trezor, and Ledger. Are you partners with them as well? This is a pure financial move. Not disclosing this, not having an opt-out was a mistake. I'm glad this was removed, but it still breaks major trust. Yeah, that was the other problem too, which is with this thing. That's why they had to update the code. That no one was alerted this happened. Someone found this out when trying to go to their main Binance. Binance. I keep saying Binance. Binance website. And there was no option to opt out of this in any of the settings or anything. It had to be coded out of the system here. As someone wrote, the reason I call this odd is because it also seems to be consciously misusing an affiliate link. Imagine Google Chrome pulling that off with Amazon. Very odd. This is just the same on a smaller scale. And that's the thing. It broke trust, because even if they rewind back, the fact that they keep being like, rah, 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 we are so private, rah, 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 we have security, we won't autofill links, and like, you know, do all that stuff that Google Chromium does, and then they had an autofill link, no matter how minor or obscure it is. The fact that, again, people in glass houses don't throw rocks, and that just broke a lot of trust with people. And so, again, is this probably the biggest deal in the universe? Technically, no, but this is starting the cracks to show that things to fall apart now. What resulted from this was two things, and one came before this, but here's what resulted from this, and this adds to the more of like the skeeviness of what Brave has been doing. So, and this is where I get to actually show you the video, so I'm sorry about before, but now you know what happened here. So because of this, and just all the other dominoes going over, again, the anti-LGBT CEO, the CEO that still tries to argue and backpedal the company's own words, things like that. People got mad, and they decided to make a fork of Brave known as Braver Browser. And this is the part where TechLore, the guy that you saw in the YouTube comments, the Twitter comments, is going to explain what Braver Browser is. So now, without further ado, here is TechLore, and then I'm going to explain a bit more, and we're going to actually try to run this code. So take it away, Digital TechLore, and enjoy.
Most of you know about the Brave browser, an out-of-the-box browser designed for user privacy and security. It has been my go-to recommendation for specific users. You can learn more about those and my overall thoughts on who the browser is for in our Brave video review. However, some aspects of Brave send red alerts that turn a lot of people away. Be it the gay-bashing CEO, their Brave reward system, the creators who shill the browser, the BAT cryptocurrency, or their most recent affiliate scandal, which we covered. All browsers have had scandals and complaints with no perfect track record, including Firefox. However, this video is aimed at people who like the idea of Brave and its awesome out-of-the-box experience, but hate the extra stuff surrounding the project. If you fall into that category, which I actually think includes a lot of people, I have a very cool project to show you today. Brave is open source, meaning the code can essentially be viewed, modified, and criticized by the community. Braver is a fork of Brave, meaning they have taken the Brave code and are planning to gut out all of the, what you may call crap, like anything related to cryptocurrencies, ads, and Brave rewards. A huge disclaimer, this is nowhere near a finished project, not even in beta or alpha. This is mostly just an idea. Right off the bat, what are the pros to this over Brave? The most obvious, if you don't like the cryptocurrency or ad stuff built into the browser, and even turning it off doesn't make you happy, which is an option, Braver just gets it all together out of the box. The second main pro is if you have ethical issues behind Brave. Maybe you don't support their ways of making money, or have spoken to a fair number of people who don't want to indirectly support the CEO. this is just a community-driven version of Brave and doesn't really benefit the original company at all. Now, there are some cons. First, this isn't done. Second, like most forks, it does take time to port over updates, so not only will you likely be a bit behind the latest version of Brave, but you will likely also be behind on security updates, which is an issue in itself. Third, there are some challenges ahead of them and some areas they likely won't be able to compete with Brave on, like supporting the same operating systems, fixing bugs as quickly, offering official support to users, and likely some other things. So, my thoughts. I really want this to succeed. I really do. Brave has been my favorite browser for a long time, and it really sucks, at least for me, going from Brave back to Firefox for the business. Things just do not work very well for what I do. I mean, I can't even use Photopea in Firefox. It's that broken. Not to mention, anything related to Google is painfully slow on Firefox. That's Google's fault, but still. I really like Brave, but some of the crap revolving around the project was a huge turnoff for me. The affiliate scandal and the response to it was the reason I moved away. I mean, I got to talk to the CEO myself, and I don't want to use it anymore. Something else, if there's a popular enough fork of Brave, hopefully that may help keep Brave in check through competition? Maybe, in theory? I don't know. The name kind of sucks though, Braver. My personal favorite names are Unbraved Bravium, a shout out to Ungoogled Chromium, or Unbrendan Bravium. A good shout out to the CEO. Speaking of the CEO, he's clearly very opposed to this project and expresses his doubts in the project ever succeeding, which honestly, I don't know if it's true or not. It just makes me want to see him succeed more though. So prove him wrong, guys. That was the video. Pretty straightforward, but I thought it was a cool topic to share for those who haven't heard it, and I doubt many YouTubers will cover this at all, since obviously there's no benefit from spamming a Brave URL link in a description. Braver doesn't do that. They are looking for contributors, so check out their GitHub, Twitter, and Discord server, or just join if you like the project and want to see updates and interact with people who like the project as well. What do you think of this? Do you use Brave? If so, would you ever move over? Would you rather stick with Brave? I don't know. Share your thoughts below. I'd love to hear. Thank you, viewer, for watching. If you liked the content, give us a like below, subscribe for more content like this, and check out our communities to mingle with other privacy folks. There are many out there. You just gotta find them, and they're all on the internet, never in real life.
So, not to come off in advance, because I think he did a great job, but that's kind of a summary of some of the stuff that has happened with Brave, as well as this project that was made called Braver Browser. And what it does is it pulls from the three same sources, the Chromium, Brave Core, and AdBlock Rust, but again, it cut all the other terrible stuff out of Brave. And we're going to try to see if we can get this version to run in a moment. But here's what I want to bring up. Remember how we criticized the name, and also how Brendan, the CEO of Brave, does not like this project? Well, see, that's the thing, is that Brave is based on Chromium. And because of that, and this is also something Brave touts, is that it's open source. That's how the Braver Browser project started, was because Brave is open source, as you saw on GitHub. Anyone can fork that code, edit that code, and as long as they attribute it, which they did, to the people who who made Brave and Chromium, they can make their own fork. And that is one of the most amazing, powerful things about open source software, as we covered at our meeting on October 16th, is the ability to add and change as long as you give proper acknowledgement of where all the previous coding came from before your modifications. We have an ecosystem where hundreds of thousands of people can go and edit your project and make it even better. And open source really is just a huge thing over the community. That's what the CEO keeps talking about, with how amazing open source is, and that allows them to do all sorts of stuff. And I completely agree with that. Too bad that now the project is now known as the Bold Browser. And not only is it known as the Bold Browser, which is going to be loading in a second, but you'll also notice that it's not even forked from Brave anymore. It's forked by an amazing alternative, Ungoogled Chromium. Why is that? Well, despite all of Brave's being rah, 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 We are open source, and that's so great for the community. As you probably heard, the CEO freaking hated this project, and he hated this project so much that right when they started to get off of their feet on using the Brave fork, Brave sued the Braver people over the use of the name Brave. And to avoid the major lawsuit, they had to remove anything that refers to Brave out of it. And because Brave, it's like a hedgehog, and how when a hedgehog runs, it shits while it runs. That's the entire code for Brave, that despite the Chromium code being there, it's Brave this, and Brave that, and Brave this. My mom's name is Brave, and my dick's name's Brave, and blah, blah, blah. They would have to edit out so much that they said, F it, we're going to fork this from Google Chromium instead. So it's not even based off of Brave anymore. And that is not only not a good look for Brave as a company and a browser, it does not instill more trust in them. It does the reverse. Now people trust Brave even less because they're still in that company mind. I mean, think about this. If I remember correctly, and people could correct me on this, I don't think Google has ever sued someone else for like using Chromium, provided that they source that it's from Chromium. I don't think so. I could be wrong, and I probably am wrong, but I can't think of any case where like someone made a fork of Chromium, or like, hey, this is a fork of Chromium and I made it Dave's browser, and Google went, Dave, we hate Dave, sue Dave. Like, I honestly have not heard that ever happening. Mozilla doesn't do that with Firefox. It's just so confusing. Brave did that for the people that were trying to basically make a version of Brave, and not necessarily be it better, but just taking some of the problematic stuff that people felt was making Brave more unsecure for them. And they could have easily coexisted, which is what open source itself, free software and open source, allows it to do. But as Brave had proven with the suing thing, they are no better than Google when it comes to this stuff. They probably might be even worse than Google because of this, because Brave will sue your ass if you say any terrible things about them, which is terrible for this live stream, I guess. I guess that means DC201's probably going to get sued, but that's okay. One, we're from New Jersey. Two, we know how to make unscrupulous weapons. So good luck with that. But yeah, again, this is what I mean about, first domino hits at the Binance thing, then they backpedaled on it, so they acknowledged they had a problem without acknowledging they had a problem. That causes more stuff until finally we get this thing where they when Google removed the term, as loud noises happen, do not be evil, and that was like, we already knew Google was doing bad crap before then. Sounding like Jason Voorhees over here. We already know, that Google was doing bad stuff before them, but that removal of that was them admitting, like, we're just going to completely go back on like one of our core tenets. This was that version for Brave, where they had this, where their big tenets after privacy and security was open source and supporting the open source software community, and then they pull crap like this. Before we try to load this Brave, and I know I said 10:20. We're probably, unfortunately, because of the delay, going to stream to 11. So final thing, at 11, no matter what happens, if it happens before, we'll do it early, but by 11, 2 ones next to each other, I will do the Brave, not Brave, I will do the dLive Lemons distribution. So if you're on dLive, I'm sorry I keep making you waiting, but dead serious, at 11, we're going to, or before 11, minimum at 11, we're going to do this, because I don't really have that much more content to go, to be honest, but I will bring up something here. So, it's not the first time Brave sued someone. Brave also sued, even though I disagree with both suings, for this, because they also hated another fork. And unlike Bold Browser, used to have been called Braver Browser, I actually do agree with Brave on this, even though I didn't agree with their methods. I think the internet itself could have made fun of this. And I want to cover that because I don't know how long the code's going to compile for Braver Browser, the old source code, and B, this should go by really quick. Caveman Johnson, lemon speech intensifies. Yes. Also, real quick, before we go into this, we just got another ad. It's from BlockFi. Let's click on it. Yay. While we load this stupid bat authentication token ad, it's the same ad again. I just want to mention that if you do like the show Crypto Barons here, that we do second and fourth Saturdays of every month. Or if you want to check out when our next meeting's going to be, which if I remember correctly, and you're going to see me open this here, that's going to be, I think, on November 20th. Yep, it's on November 20th. That's the third Friday of the month, where you're hyped for some of the other shows that we have, such as Archvile Linux Perspective, Hackle and Commander, my other show, Master of Unlocking, where I have one here, where I teach, that was a wet noodle, where I teach people how to pick locks on live stream, as well as some other just general special content. You can hit that like button and click follow, share, like, or subscribe on Twitch, dLive, or YouTube. We get notifications for them. You also hear them on the screen. You can see them, and we'll cheer you on. If you want to donate some cryptocurrency, also let us know too. Same thing, by the way, if you send us bits or lemons or super chats, we will see those notifications as well. And what was the other thing again? Because I forgot the spiel. Oh, if you also, that's the spiel. Okay, so unless I forgot something else, let's talk about this. So there is another fork of Brave that came before Brave or Browser that, honestly, Brave didn't even have to complain about it or try to sue them. And they still exist, by the way, because just looking at this is going to hurt your brain. Whatever you do, and I'm going to explain why, do not get this fork of Brave. Do not get the extension that it runs, because they also have the main core feature of this browser as an extension for other browsers. Dissenter. Everything that I talked to you about of the snake oiliness that can happen with Brave, as well as some of the flaws technically and policy-wise Brave has, cannot hold a candle, despite me not excusing them for those flaws, to this fork of their browser called Dissenter. What is Dissenter? Well, I'm going to give you the very short answer of why you should honestly check out by this. Dissenter is made by Gab. Yes, that Gab. The we hate Twitter, so we made our own Twitter Gab. That should... But I'm going to... Okay. So here's the thing here. Like, that to me is already... Nope. Noping out of here. Nope. Bye. But let's look at it. Okay, so like some people who might be watching this, whether you're watching this on repeat or live, might be like, oh, that's because he's one of those filthy liberals, Muslim, Semitic people, blah, 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 and stuff like that. Oh, he's part of Antifa and all that garbage. I'm not, by the way. Let's remove all of that. Let's even remove the fact that even if you remove that stuff from Gab, that if you look at Gab, they have had the same exact policy problems in terms of privacy and security and bad code that Twitter has, except at least Twitter's like, yep, we suck, while Gab keeps going, oh, we're not Twitter, we're better than Twitter, we're more private than Twitter, and then still runs into the exact same problems and has the same exact lazy vendor and policy responses of, I don't know, from that Twitter has. Basically, they're another Twitter with all the same problems as Twitter. Let's remove even all of that. Why is Dissenter bad? Well, first of all, again, this is forked from Brave. This is Brave itself, which the code still exists on Dissenter for this, is also part of Chromium. Now, even though Chromium's the more open source version of Chrome, there is still telemetry stuff. I can't speak today. Telemetry or however, tracking stuff. There is still privacy violating and tracking stuff built into Chromium. And I said built into Chromium. You can't opt out of it. You can't change it. If you don't know how to code, you can't change it. So even the safest, most open sourceness of Google Chrome still has some of the soft tracking features that Google Chrome has. That stuff is still possibly in Brave. I haven't looked at the full code, but it's possibly still there, which is why I only trust one thing that's from Chromium, and we'll get to that right at the end, because I'm going to offer, again, alternatives to Brave browser. For those of you who want that, again, if you want something out of the box that your grandma can use, that you don't have to pre-configure and have everything on Google still work, I'm not going to judge you for Brave. In fact, I used to have Brave on my phone for a while, and even after all this stuff, before the Binance stuff, the Binance, Binance. I'm gonna have to train myself to say that. Even before the Binance stuff, with some of the other problems, I still used it on my phone. I thought it was great on my phone, just to know. So I'm not saying like, oh, you should never get this. I'm just warning you about this because I'm going to be always real with you on this show and in general, but especially on Crypto Barons. No one's paying me to say things. Even if they did, I'd still be honest about them. Dead serious. You're not. If you suck, you suck. If you're awesome, you're awesome. I'm not gonna avoid that. So all the inherent problems of that, it's based on Chromium, and all of those problems I talked about with Brave, the fact that it can do code injection in the URL, the fact that again if I remember correctly, it defaults to Google, the whole token system, every single thing that I mentioned here is in Dissenter. So that's already a bad start. The main attraction to Dissenter, let's read what they wrote here. Meet the first free speech web browser. The Dissenter web browser is built, listen to how pretentious this is, for the people, not advertisers. Block big tech ads and trackers by default. Discover a comment section on every URL online. Welcome to the free speech internet. So there's a plugin that it comes with called Dissenter. And the browser also has this. And we actually have Dissenter, which you're going to see load up right here. In fact, the logo for it is actually the Brave logo. Oh, wait. Hold on. No, wrong window. But you can also see privacytools.io loaded in its Onion URL, so you know Onion's work, because, again, it's running through Tor. This is Dissenter. So it's like, welcome to free speech internet. You can see they still have the Brave logo here. They haven't swapped that out. And import bookmarks. We're just going to skip that. Actually, I just want to see if Brave itself comes up. Nope, it doesn't, but you can import from Internet Explorer. I find that hilarious. Default search engine you get to choose. I'm obviously going to choose DuckDuckGo. And this is Dissenter. You'll notice there's not really much. I like this background, but not like let's go back to Brave. Let's look at that neutral page. There's really not much difference here. In fact, the only real difference is there's no cryptocurrency thing over here. And here's another flaw I'm going to bring up about Dissenter. I don't know if they're still doing this, right? Dead serious. But, and I think they're also running on older code in Dissenter, but they want to replace the BAT token with an Ethereum Lightning Bitcoin wallet. Now, remember how they said about buying free speech, and by doing that, you can block like big tech and their terrible tracking? Again, with the BAT authentication token, even though you can't see exactly what website, if I remember correctly, is transacted with, you can know if it's a Brave Rewards one or if it's just a general website. Bitcoin, completely public ledger. You can see directly where it's donated to. And you can also reverse wallets. Bitcoin has been hacked multiple times. Bitcoin Core. So they basically, like BAT, you can already kind of trace people. This is even worse. With a more proven, had in the past directly been hacked token system. So that's bad. But let's get into the main reason why people like Dissenter, this weird fork of Brave. Let's go to our own website, actually, because I'm really curious because I haven't checked this out in a while. So that little extension up there, and by the way, that's the little, like, making sure the shield's up and everything. What this does, we're going to click on it and see if anything comes up. Yep, 0 comments. Is, as they said, there's a comment section on every page. And I'm going to... Okay, I'm probably going to do this at 11:10, 11:20, because I just noticed, because I'm rambling too much about Dissenter, so I'm going to go fast as I can. The Dissenter extension that's built into the browser, and you can also get as a separate extension, which I don't recommend you downloading. I'm going to explain why in a second. Every website has an independently loaded comment section. It's not built into the website you go to, it is built into the extension in Dissenter itself, which means that, let's say you were on like ContraPoints, and let's say she's blocking anything that's not left-leaning. The comment section, she has no control over that on Dissenter's little tab here. So you can see and talk anything yourself. And because Gab also made this thing, you can imagine the type of comments they get. Let's quickly look at some other websites. Let's go to DEFCON's main website and see if there's any comments on here. Because I haven't actually looked at the Dissenter comment thing, because I usually actually, honestly, and this is the only use I have for Dissenter, is I get it just to look at certain websites, just to see what their... comments are. For some reason, the DEFCON main website's loading really slow. I don't know if there's a maintenance thing or not, but we're going to find out in a moment. Again, if you really like this content, I'm going to explain also why in a moment why this is a bad thing. The whole Dissenter plugin and its browser. Never mind, again, that's built on top of Brave, and eventually they're going to use Bitcoin, which is an even more trackable cryptocurrency, so they'll exactly know what websites are on. Props for Lightning, though, because Lightning's really fast. Let me try entering again. If you really do like this show or you want to check out some of the other shows or our future meetings, you can hit that subscribe, share, and follow on Twitch, dLive, or YouTube. We will see notifications when you do all of that. And again, for the people on dLive, we're going to do the lemons in a bit. I'm basically going to explain Dissenter. We're going to try to load the old browser code, and then we're going to do lemons, ready to stream, the end. And I'm so happy, by the way, for everyone who's in here. Again, also, if you're in chat, this is why I forgot. If you have any questions about anything I'm saying, if you can't hear me, or I'm too loud, or you want to know about the blockchain itself, what Pushin's eating, my crazy hair, what is it like being a hacker in New Jersey, please let me know. So let's see if there's any comments on here. We're going to check the Dissenter extension. It's going to take a minute. Let's see. DEFCON has not been the same since the Adobe bus in 2001. That's the top one. Is that the only comment? And that's the Gab user right here, Joshua Falcon. You have to actually sign up for in here to comment. Why is there a shopping cart? There's a Dissenter shop. Okay, this is new for me. But while that happens, these are normal. Actually, let's go to 2600. I think that's the website. Dissenter. Oh, this is them doing their merch. Yeah, they have merch. With the. Oh God, they have the Joker thing, the most fake woke thing. So let's go to 2600.com. Let's see if there's any comments on their website. Most people think 2600 is more left-leaning. So, since when is hacking about communism? There we go. I don't think the 2600 people are communism. As I said, this vote science. I've seen both. I've seen liberals, communists, and big tech and everything support science. So no idea. But let's try something more. Let's go to Wikipedia. See what it brings up here in the weird kind of money grubbing bastards. We're gonna get into because I'm gonna explain how this extension works and why it's bad. Let's see what it says for core Wikipedia here. A lot. 208 comments. Wikipedia is a Democrat organization. Its editors are communists. Its content containing virtually every subject is leftist. Factual useless against the narrative. Wikipedia facts end when the blue-haired liberal feminist feelings began. Hi, MFers. Time for some real truth. Hit Wikipedia. Wikipedia is taken over by the admin areas. If you write something against the New World Order propaganda, so you can see how this is crazy. In fact, if you want full-on tinfoil, let's choose something that is like super, like what would rile them up? I know, I have an idea. Let's see. Trying to remember how you actually spell her name. I just know her last name because I'm terrible at spelling. Oh, here's an easier one. Let's go to Bernie Sanders' Wikipedia page. I'm pretty sure there should be singing praises about this guy. Let's see what comes up on here. 21 comments. Socialism is Nazism. Bernie Sanders makes a lot of money. Is interesting going after millionaires. He only wants the billionaires because he's not one, therefore won't have to worry about. F socialism, go away, old man commie. Is there a thing about Cortez here? Let's see if I can find a thing about Cortez, because I'm pretty sure Cortez has probably, I bet you anything, one of the worst comments on Dissenter, because Gab and like super alt-right boogaloo people really hate her. So, and then I'm going to explain, I'm going to get out of politics, and I'm going to explain 61 comments. Okay, not bad. Socialism, Nazism. Socialism doesn't work. Left out key info. This bitch is crazy. This individual is a socialist. They really have problems with socialists. You can tell because they have their own store. They want to, do all of that sort of stuff. I bet. Oh, here's a fun one. So, thing about Gab is that I probably misspelled it wrong, but let's see. But is that they used to have their own stuff, and that's another thing. If I remember correctly, Dissenter is open source, and so is now Gab, and that is also, to be honest, a red flag, because Gab used to be completely closed source, and then it wasn't until they had problems with like subscribers and stuff their internet service providers, like hosting their stuff, they all of a sudden embraced open source. And it really tells you a lot that, because they made press releases, Gab, open source. And it's like, if you actually cared about free speech and stuff, you would have been open source to begin with. You are literally switching because you weren't winning. Since you weren't winning, now you're groveling to these people and act like make it up. And Mastodon wasn't really happy about this, so I'm pretty sure there's a bunch of comments about Mastodon social and of itself. Never mind individual posts. You can also do this, by the way, on YouTube. Like anything that loads up on individual web page will have comments. Mastodon tried to be the new Twitter too hard and failed even harder, even though they're hosted on Mastodon. They claim to be decentralized free speech platform. How so? They are banning users for promoting free speech. That's why Mastodon called us Gabs Nazis, because they are liberal social. So you can see why all this. Now, here's the part, and Sarah mentioned that they're hating on socialists, dissenters, open source, help me. Why can't I afford to keep my sides from flying? This is what's going to make you now. This is why this is terrible. Do not get the Dissenter extension. Whether you're on Firefox, Chrome, whatever. Do not get this browser because it comes built with this extension. And here's why. So as you notice, as I said, every URL has a comment section. Do you know how it knows that? Because the Dissenter extension knows what URL you're going at. And because you have to log in, I think, to your Gab account in order to make comments, they have an entire history of all the URLs that you've looked at. And it's centralized. So on Gab's own personal servers, they have a list of every single comment that you said. And the only reason that you can supposedly trust that they will either themselves not do anything with that information of all the websites you've ever visited, even if though you've turned off all blockers and trackers, they know every single website you've ever visited, or that they're not selling this off to like third parties, including third parties we might even know about, maybe even Russian agents, I don't know, is they promised that they are not doing that. AKA it's Google's Don't Be Evil. Screw Dissenter. Don't consider it as a Brave alternative, or a privacy browser, or a freedom of speech browser, or anything, because if they really respected your privacy and they wanted your freedom, they wouldn't be tracking every single URL that they've gone to, and they would at least publish that instead of having it into their own private thing, or at least something that you could control. So just don't get this. Nope. Clicking X, goodbye. Let's instead try to run the overver, because if we run Bold Browser, it's basically going to be ungoogled Chromium. I want to see if we can actually try to run Braver Browser here. So what we're going to do is and let's go back to here. We're actually going to turn off the share, and we're going to turn on terminal. Now, if I prep this correctly, and you know this show, we are notorious for programs not working on this show. But if I did everything correct, if I did all the correct prerequisites, this should work. So we're about to find out. So the first thing I'm going to need is the URL, and we're going to clone the project over. I hope this works. I really hope this works. If not, I do have a backup idea. So I'm going to do git clone. Then we're going to put the URL in here. Yep, it's cloning. And this is a copied instance, because remember, Brave tried to sue Bold Browser out of oblivion. These are independent users on GitHub having old code to use. They've archived this. So and there's multiple mirrors. This is one of them. Also, if you're on Twitch, if you go to our GitHub, and actually I'm going to go over real quick and type in our GitHub. So DC201 GitHub. I'm going to type in the URL. If you go to our GitHub and you go to there, we also have the Bold and older version of Braver Browser there. We don't have Dissenter on there because F them and their privacy, non-privacy, snake oil bullcrap. I mean, really, Bitcoin, you're going to place BAT, something that was already not untraceable, to Bitcoin, which is completely traceable. You saw our last episode and how easy it is to trace Bitcoin. Get out of here. But if you go to our GitHub on that link, or if you're on Twitch, you can scroll below, and we have our GitHub portal in there. Pinned on there is the old Braver Browser code. So we also have a mirror on there. Hopefully Brave won't sue us to oblivion. If not, I'd like to see you try. So let's go in. Let's finish typing this. So now that we've cloned the thing over, I hope this command works. Otherwise, I'm gonna be really dumb. Okay, so we're in there, and if I did everything correctly, now we're gonna initialize this. So we're gonna do npm run init. I wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't work, but we're gonna do that now. So there's a couple of errors here. Not a problem with npm. There's a node missing. Huh. I'm gonna keep going with the commands like nothing happened and see if everything goes. So let's see. Let's try this actually variant. Let's try to do it in no history and see if we still get the same error. Okay. Let's see. All right. Let's see if this thing will actually build. I doubt it, but we're going to try. If not, I will actually do the bold browser, and we'll see how well that works. Again, it's just going to be basically a slightly modified version of Ungoogled Chromium, but I think it would be a nice way to wrap up the episode. So it's running. Yeah, the error is not going to... So unfortunately, while the old code is archived, we are... even though the old code is archived, we can't properly do this on here because obviously since it hasn't been updated, there hasn't been any listings. So what we're going to do instead is oh crap. How do I, wait a minute. I'm going to be an idiot and look this up real quick. Because I always forget this stupid command. I should know this because I use this a lot on Windows, even though, and Commander is now going to strangle me with this. I actually like PowerShell more. Here we go. Why do I always forget this? Okay, good. Now my biggest problem is more of let's try. Okay, well that did that anyhow. I'm actually going to reload the command terminal here, and if it doesn't show up on the stream, I will. Okay, good. It just did it again because I wanted to. I'm stupid. I forget how to get out of folders sometimes on Windows. So let's try the bold browser, which is up to date or should be up to date, and we're gonna load that and see if it goes. So let's see here. Just trying to remember how you do this here, because I know there's a build instruction here. I'm just trying to find it. I should have opened this beforehand. Where are your build instructions? I know you have one here. And again, if you have any questions, please let me know in chat. Otherwise, or if I'm like too loud, or yeah, you don't even have to ask questions about Brave and Bat Token, although I appreciate it. You can also ask questions about like my crazy hair or where this actual blockchain came from. That's a literal blockchain. Things like that. Please let me know in chat. Otherwise, keep lurking and keep learning. So let's see. I know there is a thing here, and I am trying to find this. Let's see. Do 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 do. Let's see. Chromium versions. I know there's a build version on here, but anyhow. So, I'm going to admit defeat here. And we're going to switch over to a different view. I'm going to go over the chat face. And that was everything about Brave and the Bat authentication token. So, just as like a summary of everything. And I'm actually going to check one attribute here on... yeah, that should be... Actually, I just want to try that. Let's see if we can do this transition. Oh, okay. It's still... Alright, I know what's going on here. So let's move it back to the old one. But yeah, so summary. Brave has a lot of good ideas. It does block a lot of tracking stuff. It does... obscure obfuscate its fingerprinting and stuff. It has Tor built in without having to download Tor browser, which is nice. it has a lot of really good ideas, and even the Brave reward system, apparently people do make a good amount of money from it. Hold on a second. And and so the BAT token, outside of a potential like tracking issue, to be honest, although that's honestly really minimal, it does what it says. You can load it not configured out of the box. Your grandma can use it. It will block ads and trackers, and it also has a nice replacement thing, even though the pop-up ads occasionally are a little annoying. And it's a great way to reward websites without just browsing by just clicking on ads that are honestly now mostly tastefully done. You can donate cryptocurrency to Wikipedia. Wikipedia? What was some of the other ones? SourceForge also gets those. DuckDuckGo, PrivacyTools.io, HackerNoon, and a bunch of other different and Rule 34 if you're nasty. But the problem is, again, it's not really the tech behind it, although that's related to it, and it's not any of like the super tech stuff or anything. It's the policy. And between the CEO's unscrupulous past, the fact that he will defend all of his stuff and doesn't basically take criticism very well, to one of the major first dominoes outside of the BAT tracking stuff, which is the public ledger for the basic authentication token, the fact that there was an autofill for URLs, thus injecting code to an affiliate that was patched out, and the fact that they didn't announce this, and even when they built it in, they didn't have an opt-out option, was terrible. And then when some group tried to fork their perfectly open source code to make a alternative browser, they sued the name for it to the point where they had to base their own fork off of a completely different browser, and couldn't even call it of anything that had name. They couldn't call it Braver browser or Bravest browser. They had to change their name and said Bold browser. And that is way more telling. That breaks trust. You can check out the Bold browser, although I highly recommend. Here are two alternatives to Brave if you don't want to use Brave. And again, I'm not saying you shouldn't use Brave. I'm just letting you know the caution. But if you're like, oh, wow, I either had Brave or I haven't used it in a while, or wow, I've been using Brave and I didn't know about this, or I don't use Brave, but I would like a browser that's similar, what would you recommend? The first one I'm going to put in chat is this GitHub page. It's what Bold browser is now based off of. It's called Ungoogled Chromium. It basically it's a hacker, and he's very up to date on this stuff. He takes basically Google Chromium, and he stripped every single bit of telemetry and tracking from Chromium itself. So there's absolutely no tracking on here. It also strips and blocks all of the Google stuff out of there. So most, if not all of your Google stuff, unfortunately, won't work in Ungoogled Chromium. But like all the stuff that particularly Google embeds with trafficking stuff, which is hard for a lot of browsers to avoid, that he removed all that out of there. So if you need to use, if you're comfortable with Chrome and you need to use it and you don't mind all of your Google stuff being broken, Ungoogled Chromium is a godsend. I use it on my personal laptop. Outside of Firefox is great. Also, because we're also thinking of pre-configured, meaning you don't have to do much. I normally would recommend Firefox, but you would have to harden it. So what would be something that's Firefox that's already pre-configured? Once again, the Tor project has the Tor browser. It's a heavily modified version of Firefox that has a bunch of security features on, and you also have the benefit, just like what the Brave browser does, of everything being run through the Tor relay network. As we covered in the last episode, it does 3 hops instead of one VPN hop. It basically does it through 3, and the way the onion routing works, it's very good, and it doesn't really tax your system of routing your normal traffic. And if you also want to check out more of the dark web and want to go .onions, that's the way to do it. So there we go. That was Brave Browser. That was the base authentication token, or BAT token. I hope some of the scariness of open source stuff being sued and tracking, and how absolutely mind-boggling Dissenter is, where they did the whole thing of like, wow, that's a really there's some crappy ideas in there. We're going to make it even crappier. So just don't get Dissenter. If you have to learn one thing from this, be cautious about Brave. If you don't want to use Brave, definitely Ungoogled Chromium or Tor project. Do not use Dissenter for anything. And also, don't boycott any projects that are using the Brave reward system, because, dead serious, it makes a good amount of money. And if you are in Brave and you don't mind the occasional notification, it's a great way, again, to donate cryptocurrency. And BAT token is a real money. You can trade it for dollars. And apparently, a lot of orgs like Wikipedia and PrivacyTools.io all are in this, and it makes them a great amount of money. Speaking of which, I want to do one last thing before we leave. Well, three last things before we leave. One is, I now want to see why Privacy Tools IO, despite being on the Brave Rewards program, why did they kick out Brave? I am really curious about that. I'm not even going to load up the website for this. I am literally just going to load it, and I'm going to read what they say because I'm really curious. Let's see. Apparently, the main comment was, honestly, I don't see any advantage using Brave over either Firefox or Tor browser for any conceivable use case. The Brave team also clearly does not appreciate the free advertising after requesting their addition to the site, no less. So I'm not particularly inclined to keep petitioning for their inclusion with Firefox Quantum. The security benefits of using Chromium over Firefox are largely non-existent nowadays. If anyone points to a contrary, I'd love to hear from them. There was an entire long discussion about it. Someone said, well, I agree it should no longer be included. Shouldn't we open a list of issues and polls and poll the community for it? And apparently they did. Let's see. Sandbox is not universal. Yeah, because Chromium will sandbox stuff. How fast and respective the Chrome folks are updated. See, which I investigated and commented. Again, I'll do this spiel in a second. So, I've discussion with the team. We have decided to move Brave for now and started researching alternatives for Chromium on desktop. I'll soon create a ticket. I'm going to submit on Google Chromium for them again. Again, I know that breaks most of Chrome stuff, but I keep petitioning that. I always keep recommending that if you have to use something that looks like Chrome and acts like Chrome and all that stuff, that's what you should use. So anyhow, we're going to do our last two things here on the stream. First of all, if you're on dLive, I am sorry I made you wait to 11:13, but as what we do at Crypto Barons, I am going to do the dLive distributing all the lemons as one of my roommates is apparently dying in the background. So I just want to preset this thing on Twitch before that. I'm looking at my TV. So I'm going to go on dLive right now. I'm going to load up our stream, our channel, and we're going to do all of this right here. So let's see. I'm going to put in, let's see, we still have a crap ton of lemons. I'm going to put 500 lemons in. So that's going to be in our treasure chest. So that's in there now. So we have 516 lemons. Anyone who's on dLive right now, we're about to submit to distribute the words. While we're waiting for that, we're going to look at Twitch here, and we're going to raid a stream. Let's see who's on there. There's some call me Johnny. Not Danimal is on. We might raid his stream. He's an awesome, cool hacker person. There's that robot controlling stream. Oh, the Linux Gaming Podcast is streaming. We actually might do them. And then there's that weird crypto miner channel. Okay, so you know what we're going to do? We're going to actually go to, if you like Archvile Linux Perspective and you're into Linux gaming, let's go to the Linux Gaming Podcast. I think that will be a neat thing for us to raid on Twitch. So we're going to do both at the same time. I'm going back to the dashboard system, and I'm going to do the ending spiel. So here we go here. So I'm just going to preliminary raid that URL. And as soon as I click distribute awards, if you're on dLive, we're going to distribute this. So in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. So as we're doing the distribution thing, I'm going to do the spiel. Thank you for tuning into Crypto Barons. I'm sorry for starting really late, but now that we have this new streaming setup, everything should be super amazing, awesome. Now, once we figure out how to actually play awesome songs on here, I'm actually going to load up a open free use song on here for everyone to listen to as we go out like we would normally do after the stupid ad plays. Again, if you really like the show Crypto Barons, you can hit that bell, like, share, and subscribe on Twitch, dLive, or YouTube. Again, we get notifications for them when we're on the stream. Even if we're not streaming, you should do that. We stream every second, and Crypto Barons streams every second to and every fourth Saturday. So our next stream will be on November 14th. It'll be on November 14th. We don't have a theme yet for that, but we will announce that on that second week beforehand, probably after we do Archvile Linux Perspective. Yeah, or after we do Archvile Linux Perspective, we're going to announce that theme. And now we're going to preliminary raid this stream, so stay tuned if you're on Twitch Hopefully you got some lemons out there on dLive. If you're on Twitch, stay tuned for some awesome Linux gaming stuff. And then make sure to check out Archvile Linux Perspective, which that next episode, it's 2 days before ours. So that is streaming on November 12th. And our next show should be a Hack Alt N Commander, which should be next Wednesday. That's November 28th. We're still trying to see if we're going to do a special stream in October, but we're going to have some cool announcements for the streams in November, including going back to charity streams. So that's going to be really exciting. And, of course, our next meeting, third Friday of every month on November 20th. Anyhow, that's been Crypto Barons. I hope you learned a new thing about cryptocurrency technology, all of you blocks and hashes out there. This is Sidepocket. I'm one of the two co-founders of DEFCON 201. You can check us out at defcon201.org or follow us on social media, including Twitter at defcon201nj. Dirty Jersey represent, hack the planet, and I will see you in a future episode, especially Master of Unlocking next Wednesday, so November 1st, if I remember correctly. Peace, everybody. Enjoy the Linux gaming stuff if you're on Twitch, because we're raiding now. Enjoy the music. We're still on mic.